quelque part, peut-être demain matin, elle va envoyer des solos. Oui. Ouais, je pense. Hein. Puis, il y a un peu de temps, il y a un peu plus d'eau. Oh, on va ici. En forme? On est pas mal. Bonjour. Ok. On est là, hein? Ah ouais. On a fait comme tous les gens. C'est où toi?
Pas loin, à 5 minutes, dans les immeubles. C'est quand tu remontes à droite, avant la station-service, à gauche, ouais, en haut, il y a des immeubles.
Ouais, c'est beau, hein? On est arrivé 2 jours avant. Comme le dimanche, on fait tempête et tout.
Moi, je suis là depuis vendredi, de la semaine d'avant.
Vendredi de la semaine d'avant. On a tout attendu. Mais il n'y avait pas vraiment de peur à part la route, il y a eu une bombe après, mais c'est surtout qu'au début, elle a passé 12 minutes avec la pluie haute. C'est grave. Non, mais c'est avant le feu.
C'est pas en place, avec une sorte de parole, ça fait pas mal, il faut que le temps d'action, il faut que ça.
Il faut les faire les heures pour qu'elle ait une pression entre eux. C'est un poussière, c'est pas simple. Pour ça, tu passes en route, tu fais ton poussière, quand il arrive, et tu réveilles, au lieu d'aller dans l'ouest de l'Ukraine. Avec ta routine. Bon, voilà. C'est ça. Voilà. Comme ça, tu regardes la routine du poussière, qu'on n'est pas emmerdé avec le passeur bien, pas bien, moi tu te réveilles. Et dans la série, tu as 100%, tu mets à 100%. Hein? On n'entend pas du tout. Non mais on est là, les malades qui passent comme ça, le truc qu'on a fait, t'as fait par le temps. Sans déconner. Le truc qu'on a fait, t'as fait par le temps. Les Nike, la dernière fois, t'as fait quoi? Les déplants, la dernière fois, là. Mais tu nous aurais pas pris un peu petit? Mais la prochaine fois, tu me dis, je viendrai avec toi pour te regarder la voiture, comme on était fait. Non, il faut faire à la taille. Il y a un truc, on est en dessous de la taille. Elle a raison, elle est illuminée, donc ouais, c'est vrai. Oh, le blanc il est là-bas, hein. Regarde, il est sur la vague. Tu sais, ça doit être bien, parce que si elle est allée là-bas, les surfeurs sont là-bas. Sortir. Il a besoin d'être plus fort. Sur les nouvelles fenêtres, sur le carbone, pour faire quelques kilomètres et faire sur le vide. Ouais, tu vas aller à la SPA. Non, mais tu vas revenir avec un lien. Ou alors tu vas rester en place, là, ils vont t'attraper, on va y aller, on va mettre tout ça sur le filet. À boire pour moi, un peu d'eau. On va dans la cage. Qu'est-ce que c'est ce bordel? Il va se bien faire payer. Bon, après, ouais, il va se finir. Allez, tu restes là. Il y a les blancs là-bas. C'est pas bon, là. comme au volant, quoi. Comme au volant. Parce que je rigole avec ma femme. Regarde, regarde. On fait pas Olivier. Regarde, 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 regarde. Tu vois, c'est bien. Je vais lâcher une canne de là. La blonde. Dans la vitesse de l'appareil, là-bas. Juste avant le tas de boules. C'est le gars qui était dans le truc. Bon, après, les tomates sont petites. Comme c'est le gars, il y a pas de dit qu'on va commander, tu vois. Ouais.
Challenger Series back in Europe, familiar faces. Some of the biggest names in the sport, powerhouses recently from the CT. Really, really keen to get back there. The pathway to do that is the Challenger Series. It's stop 4 for 2025. Ericeira, Portugal, the spot, the EDP Ericeira Pro. We're delighted to be back in Europe. A beautiful sunny afternoon, waves in the water as well. And after a few delays today with some fog, some visibility issues, it's looking bright, sunny, water looks blue. And we've got swell energy as well. And who better to join me on a fine afternoon to talk about all things Portuguese surf and a Challenger Series than JJ Starling and Chico by Chico Alves. You guys doing okay?
Yeah, all good. Just a lot happier now because it's on.
I know you've been really keen to run. Travis almost had to ask security to come and just keep you away a little bit, Chico, because you've been pestering him like, let's go.
Yeah, I love the half-an-hour calls, but I love them a bit more extended, 1 hour calls. But yeah, I stayed all day on the beach, but right now waves are looking really fun, actually.
Jesse, from a surfer's point of view, dealing with the holds and waiting and stuff like that, it's all part of the game.
It is. I mean, especially here in Europe, we know that Portugal, we had this issue last year as well where we saw a lot of fog, a lot of holds come in play. Today, it just seemed like that fog just didn't want to go away, but as soon as it did, we're taking advantage of it. The waves look really fun, so I think a lot of the surfers are happy with the call that it's going to go ahead this afternoon. And it's a really nice arvo as well. I mean, the sun's out, it's warm today, and the waves look really fun too.
It's a beautiful afternoon. We've got a possibility to run a few hits, but you know what? Let's go and find out exactly what we're going to do, because Travis Logie is with Claudia Pinto.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're here at the beach. The sun finally is out. Travis, what can we expect from today? We know it was quite of a rough day with a lot of calls, so what can we expect for today and for the rest of the week?
Yeah, it's always a challenge in Europe, but it's always worth it. That's why we love coming back, because the waves are so fun. It's a great place to hold events. Long day of calls, but the fog finally blew away, and we're on 4 heats of men's round 2, heats 5 to 8. And yeah, it's looking pretty decent out there. There's still a couple sets, and we are going to be dealing with maybe fog tomorrow again. So we're just going to capitalize on any gap we get.
Thank you so much. Back to you guys.
That's great news. Thanks, Claudia. Interesting to see Trav with the cap much more horizontal today. So that's business, right? He's like, no, this is serious now. Like, we've had to wait, but we're going horo. No?
Yeah,
pretty much in line with the horizon.
Yeah, it's on.
Compared to the...
Yeah, it's on.
What does that mean?
I think it's just the at position. I think it means business.
He's not messing around. Neither are we. We can't wait to get going here. Surfers, well, some of them have been surfing. There has been free surfing. Like, when you paddle out, it's not been an issue really, maybe get out and surfing and catch waves. Obviously, from the judging point of view and from our camera angles, we've not been able to work it, but there have been waves. A few of the surfers have been out there today, ripping it up.
Yeah, heaps of them have. Actually, Winter Vincent, he's coming up this afternoon. He's had about 2 or 3 surfs today, but he said it's been hard. You can't really see anything, and the fog is really cold as well, so he found himself being extra cold out there. But, I mean, the waves were fun, but the judges weren't able to see it, so it was a good call calling it off for as long as they did. But thank God the sun's out. Everyone's here. Talent's on.
Getting into our Surfline forecast and looking forward to what we're expecting throughout the rest of the day today, and then looking forward to the rest of the week as well. We've been pretty positive about some good energy coming through. The underlying numbers are good. The direction as well is pretty crucial. And Chico, you can tell us about this, but we really like this more westerly swell here at Ribeira.
Yeah, tomorrow is looking amazing for Ribeira. The only problem is actually the fog, because there's no wind and the temperature is going to be really high tomorrow again. So as we can see, in the morning we're going to have 4 to 5 foot faces, and in the afternoon 3 to 4 foot faces. But it's just the direction of the swell that matters most in Ribeira. But the temperature, though, is going to be super high tomorrow. We have today, tomorrow, and after tomorrow. It's going to be super high. So I believe with no wind and high temperature, sometimes it gets a bit foggy here. So hopefully tomorrow there's no fog around, but most probably...
I mean, if you keep saying it, mate, if you say it enough times, it'll appear. Let's just, should we just call it the F word? Drop in the F-bomb.
I actually like that.
Having a look at heat number 5 of the round of 64. The fog has cleared. Things are looking great. Jackson Bunch, electrifying, goofy, sprightly and light on his feet. He's back here in Challenger Series competition where he's taking on Callum Robson, Luca Messinas, Dylan Moffat. A stacked heat with talent and some patience, which will have been tested. I think all of these competitors, fair to say, they know how to take a long day of surfing in their stride, and they're used to that hurry up and wait kind of energy. Just put a lid on it and then come back and perform when the horn sounds.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like these guys, like you mentioned, they're used to this. And this is what makes a great athlete, you know, being able to adapt, having this ability to work on the fly and just keep on moving. You know, even in these long days, I know Jackson spent quite a while down here just really keeping a close eye on the conditions, trying to make sure he really knew how to nut it out. And I can't wait to see what he brings. I feel like Jackson hasn't really made his strides with this relationship, with this wave. Sorry, I feel like his relationship isn't the best yet. So I feel like Jackson, he's hungry for it. Just the way he's analysing the ocean, the way he's looking this year so far, I feel like we could be seeing a really nice informed Jackson Bunch here.
4 surfers looking to try and make their mark on this event. And that patience at the moment sees them nicely spread out there along the reef. Looking for that opportunity to come through, as we mentioned on the Surfline forecast. Just a slight dial down in terms of the swell. Tide pretty low at the moment. It's on the turn, coming back in. Not a huge swing, which is favourable. That mid-tide coming in. Pretty much peak prime conditions here at Ribeira del. That's just what we're got throughout the rest of the afternoon. Seen as such powerful, explosive surfer, able to find competitive performances Doesn't mind a bit of adversity, serving to a situation, posting big numbers under pressure. What he'd really love to do is go out and put a lead on early on in this. But I tell you what, look at the quality of surfers in the water. Particularly Callum Robson with all of that CT experience. Interesting to see Callum already switch into that coaching role as well, Jess.
Yeah, he's really dived into that this year, and I feel like he's kind of found his thing, found his niche, and it was something that's almost been a little bit surprising. I mean, Cal's always been quite a reserved guy. You know, he's not the most outspoken, especially in that Aussie contingent. There's a lot of personalities going on there, and I feel like he's really taken on this mentor role, especially back home. He's going around to all the board riders clubs across the country, making sure that he's giving his best knowledge, and he's paying it forward, which I think is a really respectable thing as well for Cal. I feel like there's that element of, okay, yeah, I've done it. There's so many kids out there who want to do it, so I'm going to take this opportunity and just show them exactly what it's like. Pass on his knowledge, his experiences, and there's no price on that.
What's the best advice you've ever received, surfing or otherwise?
Well, my favourite little bit of advice that I have from back home is hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Yeah.
Yep. And I've stuck with that every single day, that one. So yeah, I would say that and paddle hard. That would be the two.
Having a look at Dylan Moffat. We talked about him in the early rounds. And also the explosive nature, the ability to shift gears. That's what Dylan brings. That's why he's been a good fit for this wave in the past so far. All pretty becalmed out there. No takers. They're just keeping a beady eye on things.
Yeah, I actually had a little bit of tea, I'm going to call it, a bit of coffee with Dill's parents earlier.
Like
Cam
an afternoon
and Ange.
tea?
No, morning tea.
Okay.
Yeah, they're here supporting him, and it's so nice to have your family, in your corner supporting you on the other side of the world, and they're here supporting him, and then they're going to go off and have a nice family holiday as well. So people making the most of the Challenger Series in Portugal, but I know Dill, he's really close with his mum and dad, and it would mean a lot to him to have them backing.
Making that shift from vacay into business. Cal Robson, an extended paddle from him. Wanted to get involved there. The wave didn't quite let him in, and he ruefully looks back, just watches it quite meekly make its way down the reef here. Ribeira Dillas packed on the beach as well, though, despite all the holes today. Big energy down and about. The skate park was going mad as well around lunchtime. The local Groms absolutely loving, and some of the best surfers in the world in town right now. Portuguese surf fans, they'll remember when the likes of Callum Robson got a 10 up in Super Tubos.
Yeah, Cal's actually had a really good run when it comes to Portugal. He got a second here last year as well. He was super impressive last year, coming second to Sammy Pupo, who we established yesterday has an incredible relationship with this place and this wave. So Cal maybe want to try and get a little bit of redemption. He wants to get back to that top spot.
Yeah, definitely. He'll feel like his particular brand of surfing, the power that he's got, just the performance in the elite waves around the world. And with the addition of Pipe back to this tour, as we've been talking about, definitely bridges that gap between the CT and the Challenger Series, 23.45 at the moment. We haven't troubled the scorers, as we'll look and fly above, over the beach, and just out over the reef, which is just about covered, because the tide didn't go super low. It didn't go as dry as it would on a bigger swing. Pretty even and flat in there. And then, just as the reef shelves off, there's a couple of angles that allow the wave to do this for the likes of Dylan Moffat. And you can see just trying to build up a bit of speed, but also can't outrun the power pocket. A redirect from Dill, and he'll stay light on his feet. It's kind of patient, watchful, and a couple of slices to finish. And a nice polite golf clap from the Aussie contingent.
Just a nice little flutter there for all of them. I mean, Dill, he's such a kind soul. I feel like he's so liked, maybe the most liked in that Aussie crew. So you can see everyone's down here supporting him.
Macinas. Already a bit more energy and vigor into this ride by comparison. He'll make some shapes, just use that upper body strength and the core to do a couple of wiggles.
Yeah, and Luca there working with Julian Lasser, Keone Lasser's dad, and he's got a pretty cool crew that he's working with this year with Keone, Leilani McGonigal. We saw her get through yesterday. We got Teresa Bonvolo, who's had an incredible year. So Luca with a really cool crew around him right now. And got a nice start in this one. You can see the swell, it's definitely dropped. It's died a little bit from yesterday, but we're still getting these really nice bowls through this inside section. Beautiful snap. He's just keeping his speed alive all the way through, really generating it start to finish. Just flares out and over. Almost looked a little uncontrolled, but in a good way. You can see how hard he was pushing on this last turn. Had those fins drift around the corner, just that little bit far away from him, but regrouped beautifully. And then this is what we're looking at from Dill. He's used to these right-handers. He's served here plenty of times before for Dylan. This one, though, a bit of a slopier wave. Didn't have that same pace that we saw from Luca's last one. So he really had to force the issue a little bit more in comparison to the two. Got a nice inside track through here where he got 2 turns and hopped out quickly before that rock there. But I'd say Luca probably getting the better of that first exchange there. But take a look at this heat pool. We've got such a high caliber of surfers. Every single one with CT experience. Dylan obviously not having a full CT tour so far. He's already had a couple wildcard events, but all of them know what it's like to be on that top stage, and they're definitely all itching to get back there.
Yeah, definitely. And all bring something different and unique as well, which is a really cool thing about the championship tour, is making it, you not only get sort of personal glory and representing your town and your country, but also just adding your own flavour, a unique brand of surfing and personality. Someone that really does still shine through. And it's great to see the next crop individual, different approaches to wave riding, sort of travelled in a few different directions, but there's still, as we've seen already from our big opening day yesterday, different ways to get scores out here, all sorts of ways of doing it, whether you just want to be a bruiser and just hit it hard and go for power, whether you want to be more progressive and light on your feet and dynamic. No wrong answers really. Serve to the criteria on good waves. Rewards will come from the panel. Just talking about that start and getting involved earlier on, and even though that wave is a bit softer from Dylan, not going to be a huge number. I just think getting the wave early on in the heat and then getting yourself in a priority rotation and just getting involved in it, a smart move. But obviously a major advantage with the Peruvian Messinas as he goes 6-1-7 for his opening ride. So that energy, that physical energy that he put in, paying off. That's a really healthy number. You look at the lineup, what sort of waves are on offer at the moment, what we've seen in 10.5 minutes. A 6 feels solid.
Definitely. And I feel like, you know, the head judge, he works really closely in making these calls. So he would have analysed the conditions, looked at exactly what was coming through, what type of wave, the speed and power that had, and then match it with that really clean-cut surfing there from Luca Messinas. That's what we're seeing, that 6-point ride, just going above that midpoint range there. So Luca getting a really nice start. And that's going to really, I have a feeling this afternoon, as with this dropping swell, that's really going to come into play, having that just in your back pocket. It's a cheeky little 6, but you'll take it.
Absolutely. Great way to kick things off. Meanwhile, on the prowl is Cal, making his way back up the point after opening up here. And after you've waited a while at the start of a heat, it'll feel pretty good. What did he do with it, Jess?
Yeah, Cal, this is that different type of surfing we we're just talking about between all 4 of these surfers. This is our power surfer. This is our guy who's got a lot of muscle behind him, and he's just going to manhandle turns from start to finish on that one, from carves to really nice end section snaps. That is just trademark Caltex, Cal Robbo surfing there. Even on the small waves, he's got such a strong rail game.
Yeah, one of many surfers who loves his time here in Portugal. He's got a particularly good reason to do that as well. A couple of visits to Peniche on the championship tour, Super Tubos, and one of them paid off big time. Got an absolutely outstanding wave. One of the rides of that season, 2023, a 10 up at Peniche on a particularly heavy and thick day. Let's remind ourselves exactly what he was able to do.
Oh, stop it! Oh, how good is this re-watching this 10? I mean, that was a thick barrel, and I remember watching this live back home. terrified of that drop. I thought he was going to either get annihilated or potentially get the wave of his life, and it ended up being a 10 on the championship tour. Wave of your life every day of the week for Cal Robbo.
Huge moment for him back then. Right now, in the current present, he is absolutely trucking down the line. There's that power that we talked about. Makes a finishing turn out of that big muscular snap. Now here's Messinas on a smaller wave, realizing not a lot of juice to squeeze on the inside. And a quick out for him. But yeah, how thick was that thing from Cal Robson?
Terrifying.
Two ways to get a 10 up there. Do a full rotation air or get a barrel. And the barrel, I mean, he'll remember that wave forever. Incredible.
Yeah, honestly, most of our nightmares with that takeoff as well. But Cal, yeah, turning it into an absolute masterpiece. Luca Messinas, though, trying to back up that 6-point ride that he's got. Like we mentioned, those opening wave scores, this 6 is really setting himself apart. So trying to keep generating speed, generating scores, catching waves. I'm really loving this approach from Luca, and Cal, exact same, lays into a big turn there. Just the one, but that's when we go back to that 2 approach that we saw yesterday. Some people, 1 or 2 turns was getting them through heats. Others, they're kind of giving us a really nice combination of turns, but maybe not having that same force and power that we're seeing that Cal really put into these one big maneuvers.
16 on the clock right now, waiting for that number to come through. Set us up with a situation. This guy, he's going all right. He's pretty happy about where he's sitting on the ratings.
Yeah, definitely.
Number 1, thanks very much. Tough heat, though.
Yeah, really hard heat.
Another winner from the challenges this season in Lukey Thompson. As we see Kato getting final instructions there. Bit of pointing. Should I go out there? I reckon out there. Bunch. Here he is. Backhand work. So sprightly in smaller, lighter conditions. Unable to get loads happening for himself there, though. Just to soft the wave. You can see the difference in the power, the magnitude of the wave. It's almost exponential. If you don't get one that hits the reef well, in between waves, bit gutless, JJ.
It is, but this is such clean and smooth surfing there from Jackson. I mean, just really fast and whippy transitions. He's got such a nice style. You can tell it does really suit that CT caliber of surfing. It is a smaller wave, though. Felt like he had to generate his own speed a lot on this wave. Went pretty vertical. Might not have had that same grunt and approach that we saw maybe of Callum, where it was that one big turn, everything into it. But it's going to get him a start. He sat for over half this heat, so he really needed to stop picking the eyes out of it. A 4-foot set probably isn't going to come through, you know, and just start catching waves. So Jackson, he's got himself in the heat, got himself a 3.73 to kick off his campaign. He's going to want to build. And pretty quickly as well, these 4-man heats, they do slip away from you.
Yeah, it's just a great call to get involved there, whatever the number goes. Just catch a wave, start surfing. Just start dialing into the energy, because over half the heat gone. Time not on your side. Surfers with mid-range scores already in. The likes of Robson with the 5. Messinas, 6.17 for him, 14. And a little bit of loose change on the clock at the moment. It is the Peruvian with that lead, the 2-4. His backup will be under threat whenever he goes. Second priority in terms of doing that. Dylan Moffat, 1 or 2 Australians in the water with that prior. We're underway here after a bit of a weather hold this morning. We've dealt with some fog. Visibility real good here at the moment. We're going to run through 4 heats of this round. Time for a quick break here in Portugal. More live action from Ribeira Dillas right after this. Delighted to be back in Ericeira, Portugal. And a lovely afternoon right now unfolding for us as we'll look to run 4 heats, the round of 64. This is heat 5 of that round. And we're having a look right now at our heat leader, Ericeira Pro with priority. And he'll clip a section, travel back, get up there again. And he will get a marginal improvement. And polite applause going on. And it will be a number which will help his overall situation, also add a little bit more scoreboard pressure to his adversaries, JJ.
Yeah, Luke is surfing a really smart heat right now. Great looking first turn, carried that speed through. Love the way he stayed up that top of that section there. It looked like he added just a little bit more drama through this second turn. You can see here, bottom turns into it. Nice and shallow bottom turn just to get up there, hang over the top of the coping there. Comes back around, thinks, hey, why not? Let's add one more little backhand foam climb in to kick it off with a 617, back it up with a 5.6. He's surfing a really smart heat, and I think a lot of the other competitors should take notes or leaps out of Luca Messina's book. He's not surfing out of his skin, he's just surfing smart, making the most of every single opportunity that comes his way, and he put himself in a great priority rotation. So no mistakes so far from Luca.
Yeah, it feels like one of those days as well where choosing that right board, getting that equipment, that particularly lightweight stuff really dialed in. Looks like he's got that. Loads of spark from him. He's made the early running in this seat. 5.6 is a pretty smart and useful backup for him. 11.77. You take that at this stage. Under 10 to go. Priority now with Callum Robson. And for him, it's just a case of a second proper score. Got a bit of a redirect here. Looks like we're heading out the back.
Yeah, he's doing his best Sammy Pupo in yesterday afternoon's last heat of the day. Sammy was sitting out there getting his first turn before these guys were even taking off, so maybe trying to take a leaf out of someone else's book and add it to his own. I'm not sure. I haven't watched the surf closely enough since we made the call on if there's, you know, some decent ones rolling through on that outer bank, but time will tell. And he's given himself enough room that he can kind of play around with these decisions, just kind of tiptoe between these two banks, and he's got 4th priority. There's no point holding hands with the rest of the field. Yeah,
it's a great point. I mean, this isn't something he's just vibed. Like, this is obviously a strategy. If you're in 4th priority, get up there. There's opportunities. As you mentioned, plenty of room to straighten out, get out the road if he needs to. But can definitely get a combo of turns on that deeper section. He'll go here on the reef. On smaller days, you will get waves that stand up. If you're in the normal takeoff zone, they'll be slightly unavailable. Here he goes with speed. Bit of a free hit here for your heat leader, Messinas. And you see how he slipped inside everyone. And he'll just get a little bonus through here. So great tactics from him in terms of staying in motion and keeping surfing. In terms of the score, will he threaten his 5.6? A smaller wave.
It's a smaller wave, but I love the fact that he's just surfing. And really, like, I know it's cliche, but that's all you really do have to do. And he's not sitting and waiting and overthinking it. He's just creating momentum for himself. He's catching waves, putting his board in all different places, pushing hard at different sections. I love the fact that he's given himself the wiggle room to come through these deeper ones and just vibe it out, see what it's like. Does it have that same power as his last ones? That was a really nice swoop there. It is a smaller wave, but he surfed it with just as much speed and intent as we've seen his last few. Do I think it'll challenge the 5.6? Not sure, but I love the fact that he's just building and building this momentum for himself, and he's looking pretty untouchable at this point, just with the confidence that he's creating for himself and making him feel like he's really owning this heat right now.
Oh, he's maximising, isn't he? I mean, just even the finish and turn just gives it extra. Comes in about a point under, it's back up, but just the amount of energy that he's putting in.
And he's going to make his competitors second guess their positioning right now, because he's paddling over there. Although he didn't better his 5.6, he's paddling around them, catching more waves, still surfing at a lot of speed, and you're always looking over your shoulder, seeing your competitor, where they are, what they're doing, and he's winning the heat, so why wouldn't you follow them?
Yeah, tactics so far so good in terms of strategy, where he is particularly with numbers, and from 4th prio, we'll see what he can get either away from everybody else. Meanwhile, Jackson Bunch, his situation, it's not looking great at the moment. It's just ridden the one wave he's in a bit of trouble here.
Yeah, he definitely is. And I feel like this may have been a repetitive theme that we've seen for Jackson Bunch this Challenger Series season. I mean, he is a world-class surfer. There's no doubt about that. But feels like his heats keep slipping away from him this year.
Here's Cal with a bounce. And he wants to tear into this. You can just see him leaning forward towards this section. Then he'll tear a chunk off the top with a snap. Robson again, releasing that tail very, very close to the reef. And precision work to get out of there. Just sort of squeezed his way over the shoulder.
Wow, that's as close as you get. But, I mean, we said it yesterday, 10 points for commitment. If you're doing that last turn over those rocks, it's got to be done. We saw it happening all day yesterday. Cal, he's a bigger guy. He needs some of those bigger waves to really push back towards him. But look at this speed he was generating. Really nice slash in the pocket there. Bowls up again for another one. Right before the reef there too. He did a very great job at navigating this turn because he gets a bit of release on the tail, has to regain and flick out of the wave right before those rocks, but still convince the judges that it was a make. So Cal, he's putting everything on the line right now. He's trying to defend this second spot because he knows the talent and the caliber that these two guys in third and fourth have. And it's not a massive ask, especially not someone like Jackson Bunch, and he's a 4.81.
Yeah, important wave for him. Experience just showing through there. He'll get the marginal improvement. Not a lot, actually. 3.93. That's how he used his priority. Would have been hoping, I think, for a bit more than that when he stood up. Meanwhile, Malo lines. They'll take a while to bend in from all the way up the top at Pontinha. Come around the corner here and onto the reef. Thinking of situation facing Dylan Moffat at the moment. That 5.43. He hasn't found anything like that so far in this heat in 25 minutes. So his luck needs to change. Second prio in his favour is Jackson Bunch now, the goofy, who also needs a score, and he needs energy, and he hasn't really had any. Well, he's had one wave this whole heat, so Messina's much busier with the lead. We'll recap it and see how it's gone down. He's just stayed in motion, Jess.
Oh, he has. This has been the Lucas show, really, from start to finish. He had the very first wave of the heat, used it to his advantage, and it was just speed the whole way through. I love the fact that he capitalized on every single section that came his way in a stylish way too. I mean, that last turn, it had a little bit of flair about it. Love just this new upbeat Luca Messinas we're seeing here. And Cal, he's been in full attack mode. A little bit of defense on that last one, but this first wave, getting himself a 5, that's a pretty substantial number in this heat. It's keeping him in a really comfortable second position, and I think that wave, a little bit bigger, allowing him to open up just that little bit more than the rest of the field. But again, it really has been this guy. I mean, these two turns here, that was so much spark, so much just pizzazz in those turns. I love the way he was flaring those fins out the back. So Luca Messinas looks like he's got a lot of confidence about him in this heat, and I feel like potentially in a few heats early in the year, maybe lacking that, a little bit of head space, a bit of a head noise getting in his way, but whatever he's done before his pre-heat routine here, it's working for him.
Part of a really strong unit out of Peru. Extremely wave-rich nation, and the talent from there at the moment, both men's and women's side of the draw on this tour, really impressive. Showing his class amongst a really talented heat surfers with that CT experience. Jackson Bunch very recently indeed. You think about some of the stuff he was able to achieve in the events that he got to surf. I thought one wave in particular over there in Abu Dhabi was absolutely outstanding. A wave that really suited him in that variety of venues, from the big heavy tubes to surfing in the basin to the right points, the waves in Australia. I mean, all of that involved on the championship tour, trestles as well. And then you go into the back season, and obviously from now on we won't be dealing with the cut. So surfers right now looking at qualifying for next year and something truly special in terms of the venues they're going to get to surf with, the absolute icons of the sport.
Yeah, it definitely makes qualifying just seem that little bit more sweeter, doesn't it?
Messinas just tearing in here. Tons of speed from him, and drive and flow, Pushes hard, that tail release on the last turn, and he has gone from the beginning of this heat. He's found energy time and time again throughout. It's been really remarkable to see what he's been able to conjure out of a tricky Atlantic Ocean. Now, trying to cover some ground and really cover himself in the heat in terms of just putting numbers up. Robson, pot away with a Jackson Bunch, just over a minute on the clock. Vertical knifey turn. Seen a lot of claiming going down, and I think a lot of that's more out of desperation than necessarily over exuberance on scores. Snake will watch on.
There's anything for sure, we've got a lot of showmen in this heat. I feel like they're really trying to sell.
Paddle battle right here too.
Yeah, definitely. Look at these two. Cal's getting
Who you
so
backing?
close. Oh, Cal's a big guy.
Oh,
I'm going to say
look at this.
Cal. Look at the arms over the top of him.
Wow. Coming around the outside, Cal Robson using that longer wingspan and just motoring past Jackson Bunch. It was, a metre or so back, Cal, at the start of that?
Wow, Cal Robbo. I felt like I was watching a jockey race there. I was like waiting to see what was going to unfold. This is a really nice two-turner there for Jackson Bunch. His surfing, his style, it's so smooth. I absolutely love watching it, but I do really feel like Cal potentially betters on this one. So that 5.2 requirement, it's going to go up. Love how much speed he uses down the line here, just projecting, floating over that section there for Cal. Also, not sure how he even got onto this wave.
Yeah.
So that goes into the paddle power too. I was like, what? How did he get onto that?
Yeah, just seeing that turn from that angle there as well, you can see why he's pretty pleased with it. But the spark shown throughout from Luca in this heat.
This has been the man. This has been his heat. This should be one that he should really hold on to, cherish as a really great heat for him to go down in. I mean, what a really amazing combination of turns here. We got variety. We had a lot of spray out the back on those first two turns. Finding a coping that's bending back towards him. This is what these other guys have been pretty much fighting for and haven't been able to just discover yet. So Luca, wave selection on point, surfing on point, speed on point. He's just absolutely ticked every single box, and he should be super proud of this heat so far. But it is going to come down to this last two waves from Jackson and Callum.
Yeah, he's absolutely murdered this heat. 8-point ride for him for his last. You look at that lineup and you think, to go excellent out there, so impressive. I mean, he'd want to surf his next heat right now. By contrast, not a great heat for Jackson Bunch thus far. He's asked a question of the panel, but you're looking at the numbers where Callum, you think about where his number's going to go and what his overall score's going to be. I would say Jackson Bunch, who was amazing here last year, he's in all sorts of trouble.
Yeah, and Cal, he betted, and betted by a fair bit as well. As his best wave of the heat, it was a 5.33. So that two-turner combination there has to be a 6.6. Now, we've seen a goofy footer twice yesterday do a two-turn combination and get it. Are the conditions the same? Very much dissimilar between yesterday afternoon to today. They were two really nice turns. I'm not sure if it'll edge up to that 6.6. It have to be better than Luca Messina's 6.17. So the judges will be watching those two back-to-back pretty closely.
Back at the action here. The drama at Ribeira de la Sun's out. We've had paddle battles. We've had excellent surfing in our very first heat.
It was just like kind of went underneath. Dude, I think it's like right there.
Just earwigging in on the debrief from Jackson Bunch. His requirement, that 6.6, is going to come in under that by some margin, around about a point or so shy. 5.27. Not the requirement. Cal Robson delighted to really have just kind of muscled up a performance there, and he'll take it all day long. And an entertaining heat. Dominant performance from Messinas, the Peruvian, and a crucial one for this guy. Big Callum Robson went great here last year. Loves Portugal. He's got another reason to like it now. There's official results of heat number 5. Surprised to see Jackson Bunch go out with a bit of a whimper. Dylan Moffat too, just wave starved really. Didn't do a lot wrong. The ocean wasn't super cooperative. We'll keep rolling throughout the afternoon now. Bright sunshine on the beach here in Portugal. Time for a quick break. More live action from the EDP Ericeira Pro real soon.
Welcome back to live action here. We've got 4 heats of the day to do. We've done one. We've got some great surfing. And we've got JJ Starling in the booth. Another big name here, Jacob Wilcox from Australia, number 1 on the Challenger Series rankings. He'd be one of the favourites. Luke Thompson, who's also won an event this year. And Ryohei Ito and Kaito, the Japanese surfer. So some heavy hitters, some surfers in form surfing right now. And straight up and into it is this surfer on his backhand. Ito just getting a few climbs. You can see that glare starting to come in as the burning orange of the that sun is coming through. Burned off that fog. But yeah, these big heavy hitters, Jess, expecting big things from Thompson and Wilcox?
Yeah, this is a solid heat right now, and these two guys, Jacob and Luke, have been pretty consistent. Lukey getting his best result ever in the Challenger Series, and to do it at home, you know, with your family on the beach. He had his sisters there, had his mum and dad, and it was a really cool moment for the families up and riding here.
Yeah, it's that man you're talking about here, Luke Thompson from South Africa, one down in Belito. And here he goes, just trying to manufacture anything on that sort of wave. That's the first little click of note. S-turning and zapping and zagging to finish off. His legs will be burning. You get to work really hard to get some speed. But yeah, he's always going to have that win at home, but he wants much more than that.
Definitely.
And Kaito surfed well yesterday. Again, you can see those bottom of the legs have to move quite a lot as he tries to get through this dead section. Just keeps floating over the sections. Got nice board speed. That wave is so clean. There's a nice turn. Gets a little bit hung up on that second one as he gets in the inside. That's a bit more like it. Fins out the back, a bit of spray. And he's still going on, so he's working hard and finishes. So that was a really, really well-ridden wave. It was a long wave.
Yeah, don't think we've seen one with that length actually this afternoon. He found himself an absolute gem.
But did the judges reward length of ride though, Jess?
Well, we'll see. It had some nice moments on it, that's for sure. You got that really nice bowl through the middle. But yeah, Luke Thompson, he's kind of come in new and improved this year. I think I saw that definitely, obviously, in Belito where he got the win, but a lot of people win and then celebrate. He won and then got on a plane straight to J-Bay.
Right.
You know, and
Committed.
just went and just committed to keeping on competing and seeing what it was like to be in that championship tour atmosphere. And I feel like this year he's really found himself. He's found a lot of self-belief and knowing that, you know, his dream, it's in reach. He's so close to being there. Anyways, not so sentimental anymore. Let's get back to the surfing. Shohei found himself such a long ride here. I mean, not a lot done at the start, so that might hinder the score ever so slightly. So not many points until this moment here. Big turn, get the fins out the back a little bit, fumbled through that section like you mentioned there. Just didn't quite open up through those shoulders, but really nice 2 turns to add to his equation here, straight to the inside. So his legs definitely would be burning on that one for Shohei. Just those 3 snaps though, that's where the bulk of the scores are going to live. And then Luke Thompson, I was thinking this looks like a bit of a dud wave. Didn't have much power through it right at the start here, but he really did force it, the question here through the inside. Strong snap in the pocket. He's got so much power behind him. It finishes it there. So 2 turns, not a lot of green open face, but you can see he surfed that wave up.
Exactly.
He really did make something out of nothing. And then Ryaru here, he surfs so fast. I love the way this guy surfs. We spent a lot of time all throughout Asia for the regional series, and he has always been one of the standouts for me at Siargao.
Right, here we go. So Luke Thompson, South African up again. Nice little first squirt, then hits the lip harder, kicks the fins out. That was a really nice, and that's the type of surfing that's got him in this really established position right now in the top 10 on the Challenger Series. Really powerful and a good finish. Very different from that last wave, Jess, in terms of just length of ride, but he made it count way more.
Yeah, definitely. Paul and I were talking about this. It's these 2 different approaches, this length of ride with with a lot of maneuvers, or you get these 2 big turns, these 1 big sections, and you just absolutely lay into it. So we've seen a couple of approaches here from Luke, but that last wave, it had something else. It had something a little bit special towards it. So Luke, yeah, he's looking good in this heat.
Okay, well right now we've got Chico Alves down on the beach with the winner of the last heat, Luca Messinas.
Yeah, boys, I have with me Luca Messinas. Lucas, after a long, long wait today, tell me, it must have felt good to win this first heat.
Yeah, it's been a long way all day long. It was crazy. We had so many hold on. So yeah, I feel super happy to make it because it was in the last part of the day. I wasn't sure if I was gonna surf today, but yeah, the waves is still fun. The fog was here all day, so it was a little annoying. There was a part even in the middle of the day that I went out surfing because I was like, I don't know what else to do. You know, I'm just gonna go surf and have fun, and stoked to make it for the next day. For sure.
And being from Peru, you surf a lot of lefts for sure. But how do you prepare for a wave like this, like Ribaradillas?
Well, in Peru we have a lot of lefts, but in Lima, in the capital, we have a lot of waves, everything like beach breaks, rides, everything. So we have a couple similar waves to here. So every time I come here, I feel good because we have a lot of point breaks in Peru. And yeah, I feel good. The wave here, of course, doesn't have much power, but when you get the good one, the double lap, it feels really good. So yeah, I'm always stoked to come here. There is so many waves around too here. It's super fun. You can free surf everywhere. So yeah, it's always good to be here.
And talk me through the board selection. I see that you're riding a 77 model, which is a model that normally it's for good conditions, and today is quite small. But you surfed it really well on it.
Yeah, I've been riding 77 in every single condition. The only time I change model, I change it when it's really, really tiny, like when I need like carbon boards. But when if it's like some size, I will always use the 77. I think I just use it so much that I'm used to already the board, so I don't change model much. I just use this model and they work good.
You want to send a quick message back home?
Sí, saludar a toda la gente de Perú que siempre me está apoyando, seguramente ahí a todo el Team Naruto. También agradecer siempre a todos mis auspiciadores, a mis coaches, a Luis, a Yulen que me está apoyando aquí muchísimo. Un saludo a mi familia también que siempre me apoya y a seguir dándole con todo.
Haciendo todo, good luck for the next round.
Thank you so much.
Back to you, boys.
Yeah, thanks, Chico. And Lucas looks in good form, got an 8-point ride, but just while we're sitting in the sort of left-hand corner of our screen as Lucas talked about his year, it looks like Luke Thompson's found some form, hasn't he? He's been sort of karate chopping these things to pieces.
Yeah, Lukey looked so good on that last wave, and he's getting all of these under priority too. He's snaking around the lineup, just making the most, very similar approach to Luca Messinas, making the most of every single thing that came towards him. So he's learning, he's adapting. You can tell he really watched that last heat. Jacob, on the other hand, really different approach. He's sitting and waiting. He wants to try and find one of those set waves to come through. Jacob battling a bit of an injury at the moment. He did syndesmosis in his ankle right after Bolito. I'm going to say, sorry, right after Newcastle. Had to not compete in Bolito, but got into the US Open. Is feeling about 70% here in Ericeira, but this is this wave we're talking about. Really nice speed down the line here for Luke and just absolutely hammered that end section. So the judges got a bit of work to do just based on this guy. He's got 3 scores to be locked in, but look at how much speed he's using. He's projecting so far down the line and using all of that and putting everything into his turns. Look at that body torque, kicking the fins out the back, making that 2-foot wave look 4-foot with the amount of spray he's throwing, how much drive he's getting into his turns. So Luke, whatever board he's on, looks really good under his feet.
Yeah, and looks, he's got that 5.4 for the first one, which is a longer wave, we think, and now he's got 2 to come in. So yeah, looking really good. More sets approaching that ability to do powerful, good turns on that sort of really weak inside section. It's really technical surfing, and Luke Thompson waiting for the scores to drop, but in a commanding position. But I've seen Jacob do this before, and it's one of his sort of parts of his surfing, isn't it, Jess? He does wait, he is patient. That's his kind of MO. So this won't be freaking him out, or do you think?
No, I don't think so. He's a really classy competitor. I feel like Jacob's just a really cool, calm and collected person in general. He's just that kind of guy who knows what to do to achieve greatness and will do anything to get there. He's had an amazing year. So you can see that work ethic, that headspace, that confidence in himself, it's paying off because he's #1 on the rankings right now, had his biggest win of his career over at Newcastle to start off the Challenger Series, and now he's here and he's kind of got to find that flow. Has to be careful though, because in that last heat we saw Jackson Bunch not get his first wave until around that 15-minute mark, and then didn't get his second until about that 2-minute mark. So like we mentioned, these 4-man heats, they slip away from you quick, especially when it's small too. So potentially sitting and waiting may not be the strategy for this afternoon, but Jacob, I really hope he does prove me wrong, because I'm an Aussie and I love the Aussies.
And did you see his YouTube clip, Cape to Cape, about him walking from Cape to Cape in Cape Natural East in Western Australia?
I didn't.
Yeah, it's super cool. So he walks with him and his partner and a filmer. Yeah, they walked 30-odd miles from the southern tip of the Cape Natural East to all the way up to Yales, and they did a little probably walked 20 k's a day, had a surf, and they filmed it. He got some great waves, and they surfed. It's really cool. So yeah, Wilcox it was a great little series, I thought. So we've just got more on Jacob's Head live action. Oh, there's a bit of fin release. That was so fast on a small wave, but it didn't miss a trick. So it was functional, and he's still fanging down the line. Kato, he's going to finish off there. So we haven't seen a lot of that kind of progressive surfing this whole sort of event, and that was a point of difference, Jess. Do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Shohei, he's really got that in his back pocket. I feel like his air game is actually his strength. And I love when he brings it out, especially on these higher stage events. This is Shohei's first year on the Challenger Series, so for him to be able to feel good enough in his surfing and in his skill set and how often he can pull off these airs, it shows that he's feeling good and he's in his skin right now. Using this speed down the line, just highlining, getting across those foam sections, goes to the air, gives us a rev, and then comes through this inside. 10 points from like the ride. He's really just been taking these ones all the way through, not leaving anything for question there. So Shohei, getting his best wave of the heat. I'm going to say really love the progressive surfing he shows to us. Goes well above the lip there. Tail gets there nice and high.
Well, his last wave was a 5.5, so that's probably about 1 point per 100 yards that he rode on the wave. And that one was, he had a bit more dynamism and that air in the middle of it, so we'll see where that goes. But this board speed he generated in that early part of the wave was incredible.
It's insane, and that water's cold as well, so I feel like sometimes when you're cold it's even extra hard to get those plyometrics going, but he's looking good.
Okay, Thompson, first turn was a little bit sticky, but the second one, well, he says whatever you can do, Kato, soak and ice. It goes to the air, still fanging down the line, trying to finish off again. So we just did have some of those scores. He had a 6.83 for that last one that you like, Jess, and a 5.40, and then he's just sort of potentially adding to that. So Thompson looking good. Kato a 5.20 and a 5.5. So those two surfers getting on with it. Now, as you said, with Lake Jackson Bunch, the last one, Chipper, Wilcox, now 15 minutes, hasn't had a wave.
Yeah, these 30-minute heats, even though they seem like a long time, when there's 4 men and it's small like this, you can just see momentum start going someone's way. And you can see, sometimes you have to generate that momentum at the start of the heat and then it just starts flowing to you. And we saw that with Luca Messinas. Feels like we're seeing that with Luke Thompson as well. He just keeps getting better and better and better. So Luke Thompson just upping his game every single time here. Gets this one from deep up the point as well. There's that nice first turn, comes through, and then, like you said, anything you can do, Shohei, I can do too. Gives us his form of an air reverse there, comes through this inside and just is so powerful with these end sections. We've seen him do that same turn all the way through, but he's absolutely nailing it. The judges are eating it up as well. They're rewarding him for it, so why not keep hitting it like that?
It was interesting, that angle, wasn't it? There was a lot of pulled back, and you get to see the length of this reef and how it breaks, and with this little close-in shot, it's a little bit harder to register. But this one's nice and tight, and Kato again looking good.
Yeah, talk about momentum. This guy's finding it for himself too. Gets a really nice carve, big finner on that end section there for Shohei. You can see these guys are generating this for themselves. They're catching waves, trying to add to their scoreline. They're not sitting and waiting. I feel like they're capitalizing on everything that's coming their way, and that's exactly what we saw get our surfers through the last wave of the heat. But they're the real winners on your screen right now.
Yeah, we've got some dolphins out there in the lineup. It's not that you get to see them in Portugal a bit, but yeah, they're fairly unusual, and what a pod that is. So yeah, the ones coming in for the heat. They heard the comps on, getting ready, and what a gorgeous sight. Let me see there, a bit of work to do. So Thompson's last wave coming in. It was a 6.17, goes with his 6.83. So Thompson, as it stands, has got a pretty solid lock on this heat at the moment out in front. Kato is in second with a score to come. And meanwhile, Ito and Wilcox. Jacob hasn't had a wave, as the Dolphins are still going crazy out the back. And Ito not to show his yet. So after this, we're going to go to a short commercial break. We're going to come back with the last 15 minutes of this heat of the Ericeira Pro right after this. Welcome back to the western shores of Portugal. It is a glorious afternoon/evening here on the west coast of Ericeira in a World Surfing Reserve. We had a lot of fog today. We've dealt with that. We come out with just 4 heats to run. This is the second one of those. I'm joined in the booth by Jess Starling. And I tell you what, there's been some good numbers, but it's that Luke Thompson still up in front. But guess what? Your friend and ours, our Australian compatriot Jacob Wilcox, still hasn't ridden a wave. What's going through his mind right now?
Yeah, this is when those voices really do start to creep in and you start to freak out just a little bit more. During the break, though, we had a bit of action, so a little bit to catch up on here. Ryaru Ito getting a piece of the action. Jacob thinking about that one. Didn't quite stand up under him, but really nice click in the pocket here for Ryaru. He's got a great backhand whip on him. Gets to that last section a little bit late. Got a bit of damage done on that outside, but these guys putting on an absolute show this afternoon. How nice is it?
It's glorious. Yeah, it's so nice to see those out there. Okay, so here we go, Chipper. He has pulled the trigger, and his first turn is strong it needed to be. And there you go. There's that little bit of extra spray that you can see from compared to the other surfaces. Kicks through the doubles and section, and then there's a nice little finish. So he's waited a while. The Aussies like it, and I'll tell you what, that was pretty quick surfing. Kind of shows that CT mentality. Waited a long time and kind of banked it.
Yeah, I mean, he's reliable, Chippo.
He
You definitely
really
know
is.
he's going to come out with something great once he gets himself up on his feet. They waited 20 minutes for that wave. It's a long time to sit and battle off those thoughts. I know his ankle actually gets sorer the colder it gets as well, and the water's cold. He's got it booty on right now, and I know he's got it strapped up, but yeah, you think it might be hurting a little bit sitting still for that long.
Yeah, okay, so Thompson using priority there. Pulls this one, little swooping cutback to start off. There's a crease in that wave, but he deals with it pretty well. The nice off the top. And there's a nice little swoop in the pocket. And now he's just S-turning. He thinks a little inside section here if he can finish off again. Turn pretty vertical. Goes through the glare and still S-turning. This wave just keeps giving. And now at the end, a little click. And just... the South Africans like it, but I think everybody should like that. He's just not making any mistakes. He's obviously picking the good waves. He's in rhythm, Jess. He's looking pretty comfortable.
And I feel like he's created this for himself. You know, he got himself onto an early couple of waves, and I feel like as soon as he got himself back out the back, he just kept swinging. He kept trying to create this new momentum for himself, and he's just kept building throughout this heat. It's that typical phrase we always hear in competitive surfing. He's building a house. He laid down the foundations, and now he's just starting to build it, and it's almost complete, to be honest. He is just raising the bar for himself every single wave. Jacob, though, he got a great start too, so he's going to start to ask a question, but time is not his friend right now. I know 8.5 minutes seems like a long time, but it took 20 minutes to find that one. But let's break down this one for Lukey. Really nice opening swoop, straight up into the pocket for a bit of a check turn, comes round through this inside. And I love the way this wave really opened up for him. You can see it had a lot more power behind it and just absolutely belted it for Luke. Challenging Shohei again with length of ride here.
Yeah,
Lukey took this one all the way through and hammered it. So Luke Thompson, confidence there. It's oozing out of him.
Yeah, and this one, Jacobs, what did you like about this wave, Jess?
In particular, I loved how fast his board looked. He just got a really great first turn, and like you mentioned, he needed it. Dead water right there. So his board had enough foam so that he could generate over that, still have enough speed to get really nice and vertical in the pocket. They look like they're a match made in heaven, those two.
Yeah, he got a 4.73 for that, so I'm not sure that after a 20-minute wait, that's probably the return he would have been hoping for, but he's right in the mix as he just cruises back out. Had that ankle injury. You can see he's wearing a booty, so the fact that if that's his 70%, it shows you what he is. But he also, as you mentioned, had his career best result at Newcastle, at my hometown, I'm going to say, at the start of the first year of the Challenger Series in pumping waves. You were there, Jess. Talk me through what Jacob did this week.
Oh, it was just pumping. So I feel like it just created this perfect canvas for Jacob just to really unleash and show us exactly what he's good at, which is just classic, classy surfing there for Jacob. And it wasn't just pumping 1 or 2 days. It was just every single day we rocked up. We had great waves. Look at that bottom turn. How technically perfect is that bottom turn? I mean, it's so traditional and so good. I feel like this highlight reel should live in everyone's head rent-free all the time.
I mean, that's as good as Merriweather gets. I mean, I've, grew up about 15k south, and it was absolutely perfect for Jacob's style of surfing. And you can see how happy he was after falling off the CT. That's such a big result to come straight back and just make a start like that is so important for his mental state and his confidence.
And I think to have his biggest result at home as well, and to have his friends and family there, his girlfriend there supporting him, some of his idols, Julian Wilson, Ryan Callanan, one of the best goofy footers. I think that was a really special moment for him, not just to take the win, but to have every single person he loves and adores there. I know he'd love to get a win over in Margs as well. We all know this, but yeah, Jacob, what a moment in his career, and hopefully that moment carries him all the way through to the tour.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, he's got a job at hand. If he wants to capitalise on some of those, that initial Merriweather result, he's going up against it. Luke Thompson, a 7.17 for that wave. We thought it was his best wave, and the judges concurred as high as 7.5 by two of the judges. So, yeah, really, really solid there from Luke. He's kind of well out in front. It's this race for second place with Jacob now needing a 5.97, so just a 6. From the way it looks, he's in third priority. Probably might only get one last chance at this, potentially. And Kato in there also in second, and Ito chasing a 6.87. So still plenty to play for here. 5 minutes on the clock. Thompson now with fourth priority. And we've got Ito needing a 6.87. Jess, he's got priority. Do you think he should go for those longer stretched out ones that have been scoring, or is he better off trying to identify some of those steeper, shorter sections on the inside?
I'd love to see one of those steeper, shorter ones, especially from Riaru. I feel like he's got a great kind of back-to-back punch through the lip there for Riaru. So I feel like he's also got a great air game as well. So maybe a turn into an air could get him close to that 6.87 if it was pretty crazy above the lip. Jacob, with that surfing that he got in his 4.73, I mean, he surfed that wave up. That wave didn't have close to 5 points on it, but he found it. So I feel like Jacob's probably the biggest threat in this one with that 5.97. And you can see Shohei, he knows that. He's on his tail right now.
And in conditions like this, with the goofy footers versus natural footers, what's the advantage and disadvantage of being a goofy footer in these type of conditions, do you think?
Especially when this wave gets smaller, I feel like potentially it's a little bit harder to be a goofy footer. We do know that it's better if they sit behind the pocket, but natural footers can get scores for carbs. Sometimes goofy footers just can't. We'll take a look at this recap,
the recap
and you can break it apart
the
a little
recap
bit.
is a good way of seeing we had the two differences here. So started off, this is Kato, and this is one of the long waves. The length of ride in these waves has been a big part of his heat, Jess.
Yeah, 10 points for length of ride. He's been wishing it's still in the criteria here for Shohei, but he's had some great moments on these long rides too. A couple of great finners, really nice end section turns, hasn't fell. So 10 out of 10 for completion rate too for Shohei, but Lukey, it's kind of been the Lukey show. He's just been absolutely on fire, and I feel like anything he's seen Shohei do, he's wanted to try and do just that little bit better.
Yeah, and he's thrown away a 6.17 and a 5.4, and this is his last wave of 7. Now this is his last wave, and as you can see, he's got confidence. His wave selection's been absolutely on point, just rinsing every single bit of this wave. Whenever a section popped up, he just hit the right turn at the right time, and then it just kept giving. So he just kept punishing it. And he was like, you know what, I'm going to let this gift horse. And this was for the 7.17. And he's got such a big, he's not going to get out of this. He's out in front. It's up to this second spot. And can Wilcox now, along with Ito, get one more opportunity? Don't have a good priority situation for Wilcox. He might try and just get away from the pack somehow and get a bit of space. Ito with priority. Now it's a waiting game, and just it's all about the next decision he's going to make surfing-wise, Jess. It's going to be a big one.
It's so interesting. It could go one of two ways because Jacob has a lot more experience on Shohei. He's actually he's a great salesman. I've seen him sell a lot of people onto some pretty dud waves right towards the end there, and then find himself the score. And Jacob's got that confidence this year that we've been talking about. He really, really backs himself in his surfing. Shohei, on the other hand, time is on his side. There's 2 minutes to go. There's not a lot of sixes that are coming through, so Jacob's going to have to take a wave and surf it up, more likely than not. But this guy, Lukey, pressure is off. He's taking ones through the inside.
Yeah, he's like, you know what, I don't want no part of this. I'm already in the lead, and now he's just still playing a little insider. He's got one more section. It's not going to go into his scores, but he's staying busy. He's also staying away. Meanwhile, Wilcox has had a crack. We're not sure if there was any turns out at the back. There was a finish. He's going to need more than that. And Ito also 1 minute 45, so he's gone. Nice first turn, pretty vertical. There he goes, a nice little slash in the pocket again. And then gets a bit more vertical at 12 o'clock. Last turn, just kicks the fins out. A bit of variety, and he likes it. So good, nice, even pace to that wave. And he was chasing a 6.87, and that probably might be his last chance.
Definitely his best wave so far for Riaru.
Did he get out of the fives, do you think?
I think he got in the fives for sure. Getting out, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. Great first turn there. Really nice stab in the pocket hit for Riaru. He surfed this wave really tightly in the bowl from start to finish. Came through this inside, gave us variety as well. Drifted those fins around. We saw all three of them hang out the back there. Lukey through this inside section, smaller one. I feel like this was maybe just a bit of a perso wave,
it was.
as Stace
Still pretty
would say.
Savage roundhouse to start off with, just for kicks and giggles.
And then this is the start of this wave we're interested about. Wow, big turn, threw so much into it. That was the real money turn though, that end one. Really nice stab in the pocket. We saw a similar wave for Jackson Bunch in that last heat, come around that 5-5 range. He's looking at this wave, but Shohei's got priority.
Okay, so 30 seconds on the clock. This wave looks nice. He's got the afterburners on his that board of his. Kicks it out the back. He likes it. Doesn't give him an inside section, and he's trying to sell that. 20 seconds. Wilcox got another choice but to go the a bit more foam for the previous wave, and you can just tell by his body language that that's not going to be enough. So it looks like Wilcox, the number one seed, is going to vacate the premises. But this wave of Kato with 30 seconds on the clock, let's call it a buzzer beater. I think that's close enough, and he's really happy with it. Is it a 6.87? We'll see Ito there waiting on the score. So there's a lot to unpick, except for that man. You can tell him it's a bit sore of an ankle. He's got the one booty, which I do respect a lot. But, just couldn't... Well, the waiting game didn't pay off for Jacob, did it at all, really?
I mean, he's still got that score to come in for that two-turner, but I think Shohei would probably better. I'd say that was his best wave on that last one. I have been so wrong multiple times in the last 48 hours, so I'll take it. I'll cop it on the chin if I am again, but... You can see Lukey with some fans on the beach there too. But yeah, if Jacob doesn't make it out of this round, which it's looking like he won't, that's 2 for 2. That shows that sit and wait strategy. It doesn't work.
No, exactly. So yeah, he's having a debrief. He often just coach. He doesn't actually have a coach. He just tends to look after himself, but he gets a lot of feedback from his fellow competitors. All the Aussies are pretty good at that. Pretty generous with their criticism, I would say. Australians, as a rule, like to call it as it is.
Honestly, they're pretty brutal. That group of boys are very brutal, but I think that's how they all, get better.
Absolutely, yeah.
And if your friends can't give it to you straight, then I think you're probably doing something wrong.
Yeah, you're in the wrong friendship group there. But still scores to come in. So Wilcox last wave was a 4.8, so he kept scrapping. And now Ito, the surfer in white, chasing that 6.87. Thompson also sort of listening in, interestingly, but he's pretty stoked with his first place. South Africans, there's Matty McGilvray. They're all just, another strong bunch. Pretty tight together on the tour. We have seen more and more of that on Challenger Series, the fostering of the individual groups. The groups are getting bigger and bigger. They're more vocal, quite supportive, which has been great to see. Adds a lot to the beach atmosphere, I think. And leads the way, and there's your man on the screen. So Ito needing a high 6 before Kato's wave. So judges here just trying to shuffle the pack, trying to rate the waves. Score comes in for Ito. It's a 3.83, and Kato's wave was even better. So it looks like Thompson and Kato will progress through this one into the round of 32. They waited a long time for that, and for that man, unfortunately, it didn't work out. Wilcox as well. So they'll go back to the next event. Hope we hit Brazil with a sense that they want to make amends. You see some beautiful sea creatures. We're going to a short commercial break and come back with more live action right after this.
The EDP Ericeira Pro is brought to you by EDP, official energy of the EDP Ericeira Pro. By Visit Portugal, Europe's best surf destination. By the Mafra City Council, Ericeira, a world surfing reserve. And by Millennium Bank, official bank of the WSL in Portugal.
Well, welcome back to live action. The sun is out, the fog is gone. I'm joined in the booth by Paul Evans. He's clear of mind, dusty of spirit. Paul,
with a purity of purpose, we'd say as well.
You've got clarity.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to the next 2 weeks? What do you want to see? What's your hopes and dreams for the next 60 minutes of high-quality professional surfing?
Couple of things. I'm celebrating the diversity of surfing, the different ways of riding a wave. Good feelings.
How's this guy
different
go at
approaches. He's unbelievable. Grajia was amazing here last year. He's had a nightmare year. Well, the half a year he got on the CT just didn't go well for him. He's trying to get his luck going back on the CS. He's so vigorous, he's so good in the air, and he really, really wanted that ramp. He got there eventually. Fortunately, couldn't quite bring it down. Expect some smooth, linked up stuff with flair and polish from this guy, Winter Vincent. Taller guy, doesn't mind a smaller wave though. Amazing. In these size conditions, and able to just sort of cover all sorts of water there and get a lot done. Expect Oliver Zeitz to be sparky as well. A smaller wave for him, but you can see how everyone's already identified the sort of maneuvers that we're seeing today. Really different from waves that are running down the point and rumbling. They're really looking to push with the back foot every turn, squeeze the maximum amount of scores. Let's see how we go for that first exchange.
Yeah, pretty busy, a lot of action. Not you think it was going to, worry the judges too much at this stage, but it makes you think. Saw in that, like a couple of minutes, 3 or 4 waves written. Jacob Wilcox waited 18 minutes for his first wave. So the surfers in this heat not falling into that trap, trying to stay busy and look interesting. I like this. It's a contrast of styles. Groggy, as you said, Winter Vincent. I like Winter Vincent. The fact that he's sort of. It's like a palindrome of his name. Instead of having the first name second or the first name first, he sort of mixed it up. I quite like the fact that it could be a Vincent Winter or a Winter Vincent. Really smooth, sort of natural footer. Did well in Nias last year. Good barrel rider, good tube rider. Do you think he will suit this sort of point break style, Paulie?
Yeah, he's an amazing surfer. Definitely one of the outstanding talents on the Challenger Series, I would say, by far. Destined for great things sooner rather than later. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he qualified this year, but
what do you like about his surfing?
Soon. I just think he's got everything. I mean, think back to the start of the year in the Philippines and the World Juniors. Surfing against Bronson Meddy and just how unbelievable the performance was over there. That was about the air game, and he's incredible at that. But the rail game is crazy as well. And just super cool-headed, which I think is really, really important. It's good to have the talent, but you need to be able to, compete smart.
Speaking of cool heads, well, we've got Claudia Pinto down on the beach. Who winning that last heat? Luke Thompson.
Look, you're smashing out there. Every single little thing was coming your way. You're really putting everything in it. How do you describe this moment? You've been doing so well this year, winning at home in Belito. How is it to be here in Portugal now, defending your position?
Yeah, for sure. That win was super special for me, winning at home. But I kind of just wanted to reset and go back into the rest of the year. Still a lot of work to do. But Portugal's been one of my favorite places ever since I started competing. I think this is my 4th year here, and I love coming here. Definitely not the healthiest place to be because you're just eating a bunch of pastries. But yeah, I'm loving my time here. It was a bit of a weird day with the fog kind of creating a bunch of holds, but I just kind of spent the day napping at home, waking up for the calls, and then luckily we got some fun ways to end the day off.
How do you keep yourself active in a day like this where you don't really know? There's so many calls back and forth, napping and everything that is going on. What's your routine? I kind of feel like I just try balance between switching on and switching off, and I feel like something like that, is like completely out of your control. So there's no point in worrying about it. For me, I had a shocker free surf this morning. I think I had one wave that I couldn't even do a turn on, and I just came in fuming and head spinning. And I spoke to Paddy Upton, my performance coach back home, my mental performance coach, and he just kind of said, look, just trust yourself and just relax. Like just enjoy the fact that you're in Portugal, enjoy that you're in a beautiful place, like with my family and stuff. And kind of after that, I just relaxed and reset and kind of just chilled at home and like completely just like relaxed throughout the day. Was just napping the whole time. Every time I'd nap, wake up for the call, go back, nap, wake up for the call, and then eventually they ran, and yeah, it was worth the wait.
Worked out pretty well. Congrats.
Yeah, sure did. So, napping techniques, Paul?
Have a sleep, wake up, give a stream of consciousness.
You're good at napping. I think you may have even had one in the booth yesterday. How do you sort of turn on and off? You 5, 7 minutes, 8 minutes? What's your optimal nap time?
Speaking of that purity of purpose, I touched upon that. It's all about having just a clean conscience, Ben.
Right.
Yeah.
That helps you sleep.
Yeah.
Especially your really quick ones.
You just close your eyes.
Be yourself.
Just imagine yourself.
Well, it worked for that man. Luke Thompson's napping all day and then in fire in the water. This man's trying to emulate that action. That's Zeitz again. Little square off the top here. Got another section. Really, a couple of quick fire jabs. Again, not a whole lot of spray, and they're quite sort of lacking a little bit of amplitude and reach on those turns, but he's getting some scores on the board. Already had that 3.5 for that sort of two-turn combo, that last one. This one's a bit longer. So we'll see when Evans breaks it down. But where are you putting this in your likes and dislikes, Paul?
Yeah, I think like most of the energy is coming from Ollie Zeitz. The wave was a touch sluggish, but you just see how hard he's pushing. He's really, really nimble and light on his feet, which is a big plus out here. Now, another way of doing this is just try and force the issue. Just try and really push hard against this wave and see if you can find a bit of resistance, a bit of an attritional section. And after traveling a long way, throwing chunks of water, got there for the finish and just made it look, after going really, really fast, you always wonder, you don't want to overdo things here. I feel like he just surfed a little bit within himself, but surfed really smart there. So good enough to get the release. Didn't try and go crazy, get the board too far away from him. Really important to get the finish after what happened previous.
Yeah, he had gears left, but he didn't use them. There he goes, nice little first turn from Grosjean again. So the Brazilian, who had his first taste of the CT this year, is now just backing up that score, trying to get some more pace, forcing issue a little bit more, but he's still zigging and zagging. That board is so fast, and he likes that. That's a lot of work, and he's going to get some good points. So Edgard looking good, Paulie.
Yeah, he loves this stuff. He loves this wave. I remember last year he had a habit of going deep on the reef when he didn't have priority. We saw it in the first heat today, heat 5 actually. Saw Luca Messina's doing a similar thing. He was going really deep up there and just finding himself opportunities. And once he's got momentum with him, he really is that type of surfer. He'll just keep trying to catch waves here. He'll stay in motion throughout, real busy, covering everything. And he'll know already, by the time he gets in here and gets that dynamic finish, he's judging in his own mind and he's surfing on feeling, and he knows that's a healthy number. This was an entry from Crisanto, different sort of wave. So he's got to be really patient. The work he's doing is pretty nice, but what he really wants is to try and find a bit of lip and to find something to really aim at and go against. And he does that, and the wave kept providing him. So in terms of like the decision to wait, that sort of depends on what happens on the inside on a wave that you sort of haven't seen develop yet. So there is an element of just trying to be, in a way, just manifest something. And actually, when you see the sort of decision to wait and go that wave, and the surfing is able to do, good call.
Yeah, absolutely, as you said. When he took off from that wave about 18 minutes before, you never know what's going to happen throughout the course of it. And he stuck with it every sort of section. I like those sort of outside rails, that rail work. There's a bit of point of difference, bit extended cutbacks. Judges don't always like that, but I appreciated it. And he's back in the game. He waited 10 minutes of his wave, so a patient approach for Pedersen. And he's back in the mix. You see Grog's wave still to come in. So, yeah, it's been sort of spaced out, low tide, Paul. You see how sort of much of this reef gets exposed. You went down there for a swim. It's it sort of stretches out, doesn't it, across this whole sort of shallow swathe on these lower tides.
Yeah, I mean, what you'll see on the lower tide as well is you see the sets coming a long way out. So you get a bit of an opportunity to sort of figure out positioning. And I think when it is a little smaller like this as well, compared to the waves we had yesterday, that question of where the lineups are, that becomes all a lot more straightforward in terms of like principal peak. I think there was an element yesterday, maybe a couple of takeoff sections. Just that one thing is the the possibility to try and go sneak up the reef there and get deep and get the little runner. Sometimes the smaller one will actually stay steeper. And the bigger ones will push wide at this size and go soft. And really scoring potential on them, it'd be really tough to get numbers.
So does that mean, though, yeah, it is quite a bit more defined, but that makes priority all the more important. You can't really scratch anything, can you? If you're fourth or third, it's pretty difficult to try and
on
snavel away.
Fog hold earlier today, if anyone on the Challenger Series wasn't reading your book on priority, I want to know why not, because I think it's crucial today.
I had a signing session down on the, and I don't used to go to the contest, the competitors area for it, but I did have a few copies. Yeah, and I was really surprised. I got, signed a few, which is good. Yeah, Jacko Baker, he wanted one signed. And they've learned a lot, so. But yeah, it's still very important. If you got fourth right here on that little small pack, it's hard to, even though the lineup's so long, it is still difficult to try and snavel one. But those scores coming in for Edgard, and it looks like it's going to be a 6.5 and a 4.5. So yeah, he was pretty happy with it. And Pedersen Crescendo's first wave of 5.6. So also a solid number given the weight. And Zeitz with 2 3s at the moment. So pretty close. I think it's going to be like this for this heat and the last one of the day. Pretty bunched. Pretty hard to really get a big differential in these type of waves. It's going to be small margins. And that's what it's probably going to come down to. I saw Pedersen yesterday have a few board issues. Not quite sure if he's still on his back up, Paul. Smashed his boards up on the rocks yesterday, showing full commitment. And he's been around a long time, really experienced. And he's looking at this wave, and he can't get it. Saw the sea life out there, Paul?
Beautiful.
Yeah, what were they? What was it? What was the genus? Did you see what?
Common dolphins.
Common dolphins. They're quite big. They're big dolphins, aren't they?
Yeah, with the lighter sides.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely gorgeous. Having a good time. And we went through this. I mean, we had a hard day. No, we didn't have a hard day, did we, Paul? But there was talking about this sort of fog day. It's a strange day. It doesn't happen every day or a week in professional surfing where you're on hold every half hour. I mean, we had to make our own decisions. They're not big ones, but for a competitor, it must be kind of fairly, unnerving trying to get your head around how you're going to surf and when there's so much on the line.
Yeah, well, you think like these days as well, with that sort of mental preparation before a heat, how ahead of a heat that starts, maybe 2 hours out, an hour and a half, you sort of start gearing up mentally before you get into any of the physical stuff as well, which is important. Just getting in that headspace. You've actually got to sort of wait to prepare mentally all day, which is just a whole different thing altogether. And it's really impressive to see the composure. But I guess with surfing it, I mean, it might be alien to people come from other sort of sports, but this is what you've grown up doing since way back when. And they're all used to it. All of this field. I think we're just delighted we got a chance to get on. And for a minute there, we're thinking we might not see any Challenger Series action staying here, so we were facing potential heartbreak.
Yeah,
we're all good now. It's fine.
Literally staring into the mist and the abyss, thinking, what if we don't get to see some high-quality surfing at one of the world's best waves? But we got through it, and it got called on. We put a bit of pressure on. Don't worry, we weren't going to let it lie. And we've got 4 heats of the day. We've got 2 to go, one after this one, and here we go, just pumping on the inside. That's not going to work out. Also, famously hard to predict the fog, isn't it? You can't really, around these parts, we start to get a sense of the weather, and if there's a lack of wind, it can come in, but yeah, you just never know.
Were you surprised to see how much Edgard struggled on CT this year?
Yeah, I thought, he's, yeah, I was, and they get on those runs, and we have had times where no one even won a heat, and it gets quite almost like a mental thing. But, I just think some of those waves obviously don't suit his style, but he's a gnarly competitor. He went through the Challenger Series pretty confidently. I think you could jag a couple of heats here and there, so I was surprised just how poor he went. I'm sure he'll come back. Here goes Vincent. So he's that long-rangey style. There's a lot of spray. It's been ages since we've seen Winter get away, but he's doing good here. Waits for the little intersection, kicks out. So into Vincent, as you said, runner-up in the World Junior Series. And sometimes, Paul, in those World Junior Series, it's with hindsight, you think, some of the finalists don't go on to have incredible careers. It's not always an absolute predictor. But with those two, you kind of sense they're going to be around at the elite level for quite some time.
Tim lining up this inside section here, just cooperates for him. He's got the speed to get there and getting the combo of turns as well. So you think about the composure, not only on the wave itself, but just managing his time in the lineup. And the fact they only had one wave ridden. And when he did get an opportunity, he grabbed it with both hands.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Zeet staying busy. These smaller insiders. Wordle, arms up, jab. Then he starts to wind up. Similar, pretty aggressive. That one's off the foam. And he's just pumping and weaving. He's working really hard for that last bit. Gets it in. And another. So, never, ever gave up. Kept cracking away. And got all the way to shore. And that looks like the surf from red again. Edgar just fanging down the line. You can see he's moving those arms. The upper body's moving a lot, Paul. There's a lot of stuff moving in those ways. Just to generate speed, you've got to just use every part of your athleticism to get moving.
Yeah, right now, get physical, get involved, commit to your maneuvers. No real chance to play it cool in these kind of conditions. Think about surfing in the pocket, trying to be as close to that steeper section as possible. With turns like that, where it just kind of stabs the climb up. And then the acceleration, rail to rail. And then getting up there with the speed and getting the timing good as well. Pulling that board down for the finish and kind of coming out with the speed as well. So you get the little extra kick of the tail. And you thinking about the physical effort he's putting into his rides. It's paying off in terms of points. Similar approach, really. He says every time it got steep, it's really patient. Bang. Hits it really hard, but carries the speed. Again, similar sort of turn. Doesn't slow down at all through those maneuvers. I think that's the most impressive part. As good as the maneuvers are, the fact that he can carry the speed through. And that means on this small wave, what, 5, 6 sections there? Unbelievable from Zeet.
Yeah, that was some big punches. So a little bit ungungy there, but once he got that speed, he was off, and you can sort of tell by the spray. It's usually a pretty good signifier of where he's at, and all the way down. So good surfing from Zeet, and also a wave for Winter Vincent coming along. So yeah, it's going to be tight. He just sort of moving his upper body a lot there, Paul. And then compresses his knees and then straight into it. So it's going to be interesting, this. 11 and a half minutes on the clock. It's gone quick on the penultimate heat of the day. So we've got 4 surfers out there. Grosier in the lead, Vincent in second, Zeet's in third, and Crisanto needing just a low score of 4.53. We've got 11 minutes on the clock. Well, there's a bit of a luck and a bit of a lull in the ocean. We might think about going to a break. Let these surfers think about the next 10 minutes of their lives. But while they do that, we're going to a short commercial break and come back with more live action from the EDP Ericeira Pro right after this. Welcome back live to the EDP Ericeira Pro. I'm Ben Money. I'm joined by Paul Evans. Paul Evans, we're sponsored by Visit Portugal. When I say those two words, what do you think? What comes to your heart? What comes to your mind?
I'm visiting it right now. What comes to my heart is joy, floods of it. Delighted to be back here. Always good any time of year. I think this time of year, absolutely incredible. Late September, early October. Perfect season here. Just loving it, enjoying the action.
If you're not in Portugal right now, just make sure you come and visit. That's all you got to do. If you haven't been here, it's an absolute must. If you've been here before, you know how to come back. This is the place to visit. It's an incredible part of the world. As we said, we only had 4 heats today. Look at the crowd that's turned up later on in the on a Tuesday afternoon here to get involved. They love surfing. They love the coastline. And look at that. It's absolutely gorgeous. And, yeah, supporting the surfers down the beach. So it's a pretty good vibes, this part of the world. So we recommend it. But it's also business, Paul. We've got 8 minutes here. I'm going to ask you, what scenarios? What's the most likely scenario here amongst these 4 surfers, would you say?
I'd say Winter Vincent with priority at the moment. Expect him to improve on his numbers. He's been pretty economical with his effort. Just the 2 waves. Good enough for a second place, but I reckon having that priority for a little while now and having a pretty good read on exactly what a score looks like, a 6 or better. Thinking about that 6.5 from Gurgia. And a wave that was really, really surfed up, but it still needs a certain type of wave to allow you to do that sort of surfing. So I think that's what he's definitely got his eye on. I expect to see that happen for him. I think it's really crucial as well, the second priority, Ollie Zeitz. So second priority at the moment, but his requirement of the 5.4, that might change. Some concerned faces among the Brazilians there, sort of contrasting fortunes for their squad. Gurgia going really well, but Crisanto, he's got 1 good score. He's got half the job sort of done, but his backup isn't great, and he's got 4th prio as well, Ben.
Yeah, I'm not sure how he lost that, through a mistake or just that last wave. So, yeah, and he needs a 4.53. Absolute bread and butter for a surfer of his calibre. But, yeah, he's got 2 things against him. Time, and also the fact that he's in that 4th priority position. We'll see if he can battle his way out of that. What's a pretty sort of big hole right now.
Yeah, it feels like one of those days. I mean, some days you come down here and just the amount of energy that's coming through, you'll get pushed through a heat by just connecting. Today's one of those days you've got to kind of force it a little bit yourself. When you look back on a successful season or even make a finals day, and there'll be one of those slow heats where there wasn't a lot going on, you had to hang around all day, it was kind of a tough one. It maybe felt a bit more like work than pleasure, and it's these sort of moments when you can kind of grind it out that will prove to be really, really significant. Who's able to be sharp enough mentally to be able to get out there, kind of back themselves as well, keep the cool head. Don't let any of those distractions kind of buzz around, any of those doubts creep in. It's all part of it. And we're thinking probably the smallest day of our waiting period today. We're expecting the surf to increase. The size will get better, but particularly the direction as well. So in the slower, smaller stuff today, it's getting through these tough heats, maybe with a 5 and a 6 that you look back on and go, that's kind of where I won the event.
Yeah, well, here goes Zeitz. He's in that all-important, trying to get up to the all-important second spot. Here we go. It's the fat section, but he's manufacturing speed out of absolutely nothing. He's obviously identified something down the line, and here he goes again. A bit more speed, goes to the air, kicks the board out, and doesn't make it. So he won't be counting that one, you'd imagine. So Zeitz, he just couldn't ever get a clean section. And after that last wave where he connected 4 or 5 times, that 4.73, that didn't work out. But this man here, he's sort of been patient, hasn't he, Paul? But still surfing well when he got the opportunities.
Yeah, nothing really hurried at all about his decision-making in terms of in the lineup, but particularly on the wave. And his read looking really good to just put a nice pace to his surfing. And what that does, it makes the moments kind of stand out, the big manoeuvres, really sparky. Foot to the floor the whole way. Gurgia just relentless in his approach, and he's just sort of covering everything. He doesn't mind doing a bit more kind of flappy stuff, a little bit more vigor and moving body parts, but the overall impression that you get is big turns, big spray at high speed, and it's radical, it's aggressive, and it's really just making the most out of lighter conditions. It's a real speciality for Gurgia. We know about the air game, not really ramping out there at the moment. It's the odd section, but not really. He tried it early on and he made that adjustment. Didn't get the landing on the air, and he stuck with the turns, and particularly those tail taps into the lip. Good enough for first place.
Yeah, that's his trademark. As you said, this type of conditions kind of absolutely tailor-made for his surfing strengths. And we see that is Crisanto. I think now it's Winter. So Winter Vincent up and riding, trying to improve on a 5. It's a nice little bowl section down here. Just takes his time. Nice little swoop, waiting for a steeper section. Hits the lip that time, throws some spray, hits the lip again, and just finishes off. So again, so smooth. Grosjean, you can tell that low, crouch, powerful stance immediately, even in with the glare. Staying busy. Looking for the inside section here for that sort of fin release. He's pretty much got on tap. Still going. This wave just keeps on giving. Then he goes off the foam there, and he likes it as well. So this is just like play and repeat for Grosjean. And now Crisanto, who is needing a smaller score. This wave is eyeing off down the line, bouncing and turning. Hits the foam now. Bit of spray. Clean the section here for a carve. That's turning again, hoping for that last little bonus section that he got stuck there as the wave ran out of juice and stuck again. Stuck to it, stuck to the sort of issue, but that wave didn't deliver. And unlike Grosjean, who finished with a flourish, he finished like a bit like a damp squib there, Evans.
You can see how important that wave was to Crisanto. He got a runner. Can't help but sort of take your mind off that stumble towards the end. Really good drive just to stick with sections, but the clean, smooth, open water of Winter Vincent on a sizier wave before all of that happened.
Live action, this is Zeitz. So he too has got a runner. He's still in that sort of pretty much nice finish. A bit more sort of fin release and a bit more flare than, say, the last one, how Crisanto finished off.
Yeah, he's trying to make amends. He made a bad choice with second prior earlier on. He tried to force it. We were talking about that mental game. He was going to blink first, and he I'm not going to say he panicked. He just saw an opportunity. It was a difficult wave to ride. It didn't work for him. So right there, just trying to make amends for that. And what he'll do as well, he'll get back in the lineup and have a little bit of time. You can see it's a smaller wave, but he knows he needs something. He knows scores are coming in around him for other surfers in the heat. So in here, it gets a bit steeper for him. He gets that bowl, and this aggressive turn has served him well. The combo's really, really nice, but you think to get up there, up into the 5s, or probably better when scores come in. The likes of Winter Vincent's going to need more. Crisanto doesn't need a huge number currently. Just maybe put a little more on that. The wave kept providing. Did it really have that standout moment that wowed you? Not really, but that's not the sort of surfing he's going towards. He doesn't need an 8. He's looking for a mid-range number. A little bog in the finish. Not great, but nevertheless, still impressive what he was able to do.
Yeah, he left some points on the board though, but I don't think Vincent did he?
So I made a prediction earlier on, Ben. I said with priority he's going to wait for something of real quality. It's exactly what he did here. And you see the contrast between the surfers really scratching down the line and these sort of maneuvers that are framed so nicely with big body amplitude, performed at speed, and it looks great. It's a really big number for him.
Yeah, those difference in turns, say, between Oliver and Winter, you know, just the amplitude and the reach of Vincent is much. He got a 7.5 for that, so a huge number. He did wait. Pedersen hasn't waited. He can't wait. He's got 30 seconds on the clock. Needed an actual 5.51 on that last wave, so he knows it's all down to that wave where he kind of left a few points on the board potentially. He's still going here. I think he's coming in. So 10 seconds on the clock. That wave isn't going to matter. The one before potentially could. Seats also chasing a 6.38, and Grosjean with one score to come in. So 3 waves to come in. They're all going to change. I think that wave of Crisanto, the one before. I just thought there was one section, Paul, where he could have maybe got the fins out before he did that roundhouse carve, and he just didn't. He sort of played it relatively safe. And then on the inside, he just missed the first section, which meant that he lost all the speed and drive for the finish. So we'll see though. Seats comes in, surf well. It's a good, just a one sort of decision, poor decision that you mentioned, Paul. But apart from that, all the waves he got, he definitely hit all the sections he came. Crisanto looks pretty resigned to what's coming his way. And Grosjean got a 6.2, so that meant Pedersen needed a 7.04, made his job even more difficult. And
is that Sean the Sheep on his board?
Yeah,
you don't get a lot of that on the CS.
Sponsored by Sean the Sheep. And he's, well, he might have been fleeced here, Paul, because right now he's sitting there for a 7. And I think when he was needing a 5, we were sort of debating
in
it.
all sorts.
So the 7's a step way too far. Zeitz, on the other hand, now needs a 7.9. You think there's no 7.9 out there that we saw. So Roger and Vincent, and Paul's not one to say, I hate to say I told you so, but that was one of the scenarios he provided.
But we were talking about the contrast as well. You look at the two surfers advance. I mean, they're sort of polar opposites really in the kind of style book between Grajia and Vincent, but both of them getting really healthy, really similar numbers up there in the high 12s out of 20. In these conditions, that's so impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. Sort of the top ranked guys in the heat. Edgar with CT experience, Vincent knocking on the door, you'd think might be just a matter of time. So Crisanto, who has had some big wins in his career, but not this time. And Zeitz, just lacking a little bit of quality at this early stage and maybe experience to trouble them. So those two here. But I tell you what, speaking of quality and experience, this next heat coming up, Paul, some big names here. Kanoa Igarashi, heard of him? Heard of that guy? Quite a good surfer.
He's good. Yeah.
No, he's up next. Ian Gentile, also of CT experience. Cheyenne Crawford and John Azuchi. So big heat, the last heat of the day. There he goes. Vincent looks pretty stoked. Got the job done into the round of 32. And they will start again tomorrow. Reset. Pray for no fog. And just try and build on that, which was a pretty commanding performance. So we've got one last heat of the day to go. Heat number 8 of the round of 64. Right now, though, we're going to have a short commercial break and come back with the last of the action here at the EDP Ericeira Pro. Welcome back to the last heat of the day. We've had a bit of a strange day, a bit of a foggy day, but we're bringing it home strong. My name's Ben Mundy. I'm joined in the booth by Paul Evans. Well, Paul, we've got a bit of stardust here. We've had discussions about Kanoa Igarashi's role in this event, and what we, forget the talking now. It's all about the surfing. He's out there. Ian Gentile, the Maui surfer, Hawaiian CT. Has considerable experience, really likes his wrong hand point. Crawford and Azuchi, but it's all about that man, Igarashi. What's he going to do? What's his mindset, do you reckon, Paul? Does he care enough?
He's got a sort of for him, it's a stock turn. It's a big point scorer on running right-handers. That tail tap hit he does with speed into the lip. I can see him doing multiple ones of those for big numbers out here. I think he's going to find it relatively straightforward to find speedy sections to give him the pace to showcase his surfing.
Well, here he goes. We'll see what he's got. Quick little climb and another one. And now he starts to see if he can get a section down the line. And even with Kanoa's speed and technique, he hasn't. So none of those trademark fin taps that you were talking about, just got caught behind.
Finding it really hard.
Yeah,
so the opposite
really.
of what I said.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Azuchi, can he sort of capitalise? He just sort of kicks out. Was that?
Gentile.
Sorry, my mistake. And not much of a wave there. The Maui surfer.
Cool dude on campus, so Ian Gentile, isn't he?
Just kind of, just relaxed.
Big mellow
cool
energy.
Cuts, yeah. Walks around often just sort of solitary. He's got friends. People want to hang out, but he just kind of runs his own race.
Like, I'll think about it.
And then Crawford, the other Hawaiian. There's a nice wrap and a bit of fin release there as well. The tail slid a bit and then a finish if he can. He does it again. Talk about being relaxed. Crawford, he's pretty relaxed there. So the Hawaiian.
Amazing surfer. Got that really big, powerful physique, but so sparky with loads of flair. Mad progression as well. Crazy in the air, but the big power hammers that he's able to do. Really dynamic with his turns. Great in small waves as well. Another one of those surfers, really think about his skill set and the CT. It's such a good match. The challenge is getting there.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many talented surfers, especially even just in Hawaii. As I said, the boys are motoring out, trying to have a bit of a paddle battle here. Crawford and Gentile, I don't know, they're kicking and splashing. It's a long old paddle as well. We'll see who gets the best of that. But there's Crawford, you know, those Hawaiians, they just breed such well-rounded surfers. I know it's a surfing cliche, but, you know, the ability to do surf in all types of conditions and all types of waves, from, you know, mac and pipe to 2-foot peelers, is pretty remarkable. And Crawford's one of the better examples of that. I think he hasn't quite got that paddle battle, though. I think they've given it to Ian. Let's just see the replay here. He just warmed up, Paul, and with that open face, he's so lethal.
It's a nice opportunity to douse Kanoa Igarashi with some spray, and then this section gets that release. And able to pull it back. Really cool.
And then Gentile there just didn't get an inside little sort of section to hit, so he'll go back out. Small wave. Look, and with Kanoa, you know, he said his home beach there is in Huntington. Well, that's where he grew up, but I'd say pretty much now his home's in this part of the world. I think when he's not travelling, he's living here. So he's, you know, his knowledge of this wave is pretty high. We know that. His style suits the wave. And he has surfed one of these events in the past, hasn't he? He always sort of turns up. Doesn't have to, but he's here. Speaking of someone who did pretty good out there in the water in that last seat, that's Edgar. He's down there on the beach with Chico Alves.
Edgar, amazing performance for going into the next round. Guide us through your heat.
I'm so happy about my heat, to win the heat, and about my performance. I'm so happy because this heat so scared because the Patterson in the winter, so it's a big surfers, and a little bit scared and nervous because about this wave because and so slow, but I'm looking for two good waves and scores, and I'm so happy about this, and it's a great first round, and let's go to the next.
Agora em português, qual é que é a expectativa para este evento e para Challenger deste ano?
Bom, estou com a expectativa muito forte de voltar para o CT. Não está sendo fácil, eu tenho passado por uma lesão, uma dor já que me incomoda há um tempo e me incomodou muito nesse ano durante o WT e tem me incomodado no Challenge Series. Tem sido muito campeonato um seguido do outro, né? O ano tá sendo bem longo e a gente ainda está em outubro, né? Estamos chegando em outubro e para mim parece que foi 2 anos em um. Então está sendo bem longo e Tô feliz de ter feito uma boa performance agora. Tô bem cansado fisicamente, mentalmente, porque eu tô o dia inteiro esperando o que ia rolar, se eu ia competir hoje ou não, por causa da neblina, né, que atrapalhou o dia inteiro pra gente entrar na água. E aí eu tô o dia inteiro treinando, aí descansa, aí treina, descansa, me aquece, eu tô o dia inteiro aquecendo para poder competir, e aí o fog não saía. Então, estou bem cansado fisicamente e mentalmente. Durante a bateria ali não foi fácil, mas graças a Deus deu tudo certo. Me senti bem com relação à minha dor, né, na lombar. Me senti bem confiante com o meu equipamento. Essa prancha da Silver está animal. E foi uma bateria bem devagar, mas feliz de ter encontrado as ondas boas ali. O score foi muito bom, né, para o dia de hoje, não só meu, mas do Inter. E também sabia que os dois, o Petercinho e o outro menino, tinha pego uma onda boa, então estava bem difícil ali. Mas é isso, estou muito feliz de ter avançado essa primeira bateria, contente e preparado para fazer o meu melhor e, se Deus permitir, voltar para a Elite. Sei que eu não fiz bons resultados até agora, né? Mas estou no processo, paciência, e estou no foco para virar o jogo, e se Deus permitir eu estou pronto para isso. E é isso, agradecer minha família, minha namorada que está lá, agradecer meus patrocinadores, a Daniel Cortez, meu manager, Ricardo Peralta, minha família Silver Surf. E é isso, valeu galera, tô amarradão de ter feito essa bateria, ter surfado bem, sem dor. E é isso, amarradão, agradecer também o time que está comigo, aqui na praia. E é isso. Valeu.
Thank you so much. Back to the action in the water, you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Gladia. And yeah, what a debrief.
A filibuster.
Yeah, he was actually at the back. It took like his answer was longer than his waves, which is no small feat. Meanwhile, Azuchi powering down the line. We saw some exclamations of awe and wonder from Paul Evans as we headed hard in that middle bit.
Yeah, he hammered it, didn't he? Great for him. And really important, you know, we've talked about it before, you wait a while, when you do connects, make it count. Does that here. You can see the section in front of him, and he knows it's coming, so the roundie just sets him up. And he's like, no, I want this section down the line, this little cupped out bit. Yeah, that's where I'm going. Hello. Bang! And he absolutely hammers again. This time with the carve, so it's variety. And you see it again, just setting up sweetly for him. Times it really well. So 2 moments really stood out for me on that. And you think you wait all of that time, you're going to want to get something really decent to come out of the turns with the speed is crucial here this afternoon. Us looking at smaller waves. What you don't want to do is fizzle out. Halfway down the reef, you get that finish. It's going to be a good number.
And when you do that first good turn, isn't it incredible how so often the next turn is one of their better turns? You get the confidence, you got the speed, it all just comes together. I think that second swoop was also pretty critical. So Azuchi looking good, fighting back at 6.33 was the highest scoring wave so far for the Hawaiian surfer in blue. Ian, 18 minutes on the clock. Everyone just getting sort of nice and calm, sets to slow down. This is the last heat we're going to run today. Come back tomorrow with a bit of more energy in the swell, new direction as well, which helps. And I think we're going to be on. So these surfers have to grind this one out. Kanoa, Igarashi now, Paul in priority. I mean, there's not too much to do. Just, you know, he can remain calm. As you said, he's got clarity of purpose. He's just here to have fun.
Well, is he
not keep rusty?
It's not here for jokes, though, is he? I mean, he loves competing, hates losing. He'll want to go out there and post big numbers. And anytime he puts a jersey on, he's taking it pretty serious. I think that just comes baked in with Kanoa Igarashi. It's just who he is as a person. That's why he's been able to achieve what he has so far. Zuki, bit of interest for him. Probably decent call not to commit too much to that.
A little inside, yeah. They catch your eye, don't they? But it was a good decision to go back out, and you might get one off wide as these sets come here. You can see them starting to form out the back and stretch across the reef. Igarashi in pole position. He knows these bubbles and these little boils on this reef so well, and he'll just wait for the one that stands up, and he can unleash that sort of, that trademark kind of tap, that fin release, but he exits with speed. He's had a few over the years. We've seen him surf as a wild card, and he's had a few flashes of brilliance, but he's never gone all the way. Okay, speaking to someone that's had some flashes of brilliance, it's Claudia Pinto. She's down there in the Red Bull Athlete Zone. What's going on, Pinto?
I mean, the same is going on. I'm just going to guide you through the athlete zone, the Red Bull athlete zone here in Ribeira de Ilhas, where our athletes can come in and check in, get their jersey. Now, also the watch where they can take to the water, check their priority, check their scores.
What type? Oh, yeah, there's the watch.
Of Kino Igarashi. Then also a chill out area and a recovery zone where you can have the compression socks.
Nice.
Here we have some of our athletes just enjoying.
Where's your little,
also,
Claudia, where's your, it's Ben here, where's your sort of chill out zones? Where do you hang? Where's your little, your spot down there?
The chill out was earlier when we were on and off. Now we're just like back at it.
All work, okay.
Now back to the action in the water.
Alrighty, thanks you. That's a little sort of glimpse into the athlete's world. And it's been live action out the back. The athlete, this is a Red Bull athlete. He's out in action. He's fanging down the line. There's that sun. Can he get some? No, he can't tell by his body language. He just could never get going there. The Red Bull athlete zone, pretty comfortable there. Nice little zones for the. You got your nutrition. You got your compression socks. Got it all. But this guy didn't compress enough here, Paul. Yeah, just got the wobbles, didn't he? Got the wobbles early on, and he couldn't really clean it up at any point. You get that?
You know when you do something, you're trying to clean up, you keep making a mess, and the mess gets worse. You're like, oh, just gotta get out of this somehow. This mess I've made for myself yet again. But yeah, he's still got that solid score, so a 5.5 and a 2.67. So theoretically, well, not theoretically, he's in the lead. But so much time left on the clock at the halfway mark. Igarashi yet to get any score of note. Gentle, also very patient. You've had the sort of privilege, I suppose. See, we'll hold that thought, Paul, because there is some movement, some sets approaching. Surfers trying to reposition themselves. Not just one other hang. Yeah, you've had the privilege to call a lot of these CT events, and any sort of memorable moments stand out for Ian's? Bits of times where he's impressed you, or just really big highlights that you can remember?
Yes, several moments. I think it was 2 years ago, wasn't it, when he was in that role? He was just the ultimate danger man. It was really hard to know how he was going to go in his heat, and he upset so many big names in really variety of conditions. Really impressed me.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, he's looking not so much of an upset here, but just to back up that first score, we've got a small lull. We've just gone past the halfway mark of the last heat of the day. There's only 15 or 14 minutes left of this EDP Ericeira Pro just for today, and all surfers tightly bunched. No one able to get up that really good second score. So while it's left pretty even Stevens, we're going to go to a short commercial break, and they're going to come back with the rest of the action, the last of the action for today. Hold that thought, though. There is live action now with Joe fanging down the line. Nice little foam climb. This section here is important. It gets a little bit stuck, but powers through it. Just getting through this little inside section. Again, it's slow, and that wave not cooperating as much as he would have liked. The other angle will be interesting, just as we got kind of glared out somewhat. But still just trying to improve on 2.67. Sort of battling away without priority, so he's just trying to stay busy and see if he can just get a little bit of job done and make it the job harder for his opposition, but it's not working. Here we go here, but while the judges look at that, we're going to have a short commercial break and come back with more live action from the EDP Ericeira Pro right after this.
We have got 11 minutes of professional surfing left this afternoon, this evening here in Portugal. We're hoping for some fireworks. We're hoping for some big drama, and that's just from Paul Evans. What have you got for us, mate?
Yeah, loads where that came from, Ben. Let's see on the paddle back here. Tells me Kanoa Igarashi's entered the chat significantly. We knew it was a question of when rather than if. So here he goes. Waited an eternity to get this wave. And he found this connection through to the inside. So sort of inauspicious out the back. Not real exciting. Suddenly, hello, there's that maneuver. Reckon he's got another here. He absolutely does. The two-turn combo. The judges go giddy. They pay out big time. A 6-9 for Igarashi.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a big number.
That's a big number. I was kind of, just because we'd seen the score before the wave, you're sort of trying to think what he may have done. That was a really nice turn. That, as you said, is his trademark. And then a big finish. I thought there might have been a little bit more. I thought there might have been more than those two turns or something slipping out the back. But the judges just like this. Yeah, there's a lot of spray there. He throws more power. He's so powerful for how technical he is. He finished strong. So the judges are rewarding clean turns and of the bigger variety. And he goes straight up with a 6-9. 10 minutes on the clock. Now in a really commanding position, although he does need to back it up, obviously. That leaves Gentle also sitting on just the one wave. He's ridden one wave in 20 minutes. Now he's got probably 10 minutes to get one more. So his approach has been pretty patient. That's the type of guy he is. Now priority choose. It did pay off for Kanoa. He waited and it did get the score. So history suggests in this heat it's not a bad approach.
Yeah, highest number of the heat with him. But you look at three surfers, really similar numbers in terms of the top score, but no one able to bookend that and get a second score at the moment. So all pretty even, really. And I think that priority order will be significant as well in terms of how many opportunities we're going to get.
Yeah, exactly. And we did see Kanoa's class, and it's no surprise that Kanoa Igarashi is getting those high numbers for two turns because he had another really good year on the CT. End up finishing as the number 7 on the world, so didn't probably hit his dream of making the top 5, but he had some real big moments throughout the year, Paul. We're going to see a little clip of some of his highlights, what he's been up to, some of the surfing he's done on the tour over the last 8 months. It's been pretty impressive.
Yeah, when you think about someone on tour, there's a couple of years to sort of establish yourself as being a threat at like any and every venue, and I think it's what we're seeing with him now, literally everywhere. Incredible performances across the globe, really, in all sorts of conditions. Massive result of bells. To ring that bell is such a privilege. He did that, and that's we think. He was looking so good for, that top 5. Surfing like this as well, just so critical. And then down here, he's had so much success at J Bay over the years as well, swooping and turning. And at this stage, Paul, we kind of thought he's going to make the top 5, and with that, pretty good chance for world title, right? Really good shot, absolutely. And you think about the sort of confidence that he carries as well in terms of backing himself at the start of the season. He's expecting to be in that final 5. I think a lot of people are. That's why they're there on tour. Be interesting actually to see how things might mix up for him with that final 5 going out the conversation and really being all about in that number 1 spot. It's not somewhere where he's been thus far, so he's going to have to find something better than he's ever shown us to get that world title. He's going to have to do it against the greatest field ever in the highest level of surfing. So it's going to be tough, actually. Yeah, not easy. That was that thing about the WSL finals format. It probably just did give a few of those outsiders a chance to sneak in. The surfers, sort of 5 to 10, I mean, they're absolutely all season in with a shot, but yeah, be different now. Especially when it was being held at Trestles, which is, one of the waves he knows and so great at. But anyway, that's by the by. He's still always in the mix. Still, he's only, I think he might be just turned 30. He's still so young, still so driven. So next year, when it does start, not till April, so we've got a bit of wait before he does. He'll be in the conversation for sure because he's one of the best surfers of his generation. But right now, that's reputation counts for nothing. What you got to do is back up a score. 6 minutes 50 on the clock. He's in 4th priority. He's just trying to improve on a 1-5. So he's got some decisions to make, whether to start scrapping for those early inside ones and just hope for a 3 or a 4. Whether to stay at the back, Paul, fight off the big dogs for a better set. This is the type of stuff where the little decisions he often makes are pretty good ones. Yeah, definitely. Think about this guy, Crawford. Of the sort of the keeper scores, there's just one that he's got, but he has got the more modest number was unable to get above the 5, whereas everyone else has got one wave better than that, and quite significantly in the forms of Gentile and Igarashi. So it's in a little bit of a corner with scoreboard pressure on him. Second prior will help, but it could be tough for him. He's really can have that in his mind. How hard do I actually push? Because I've got quite a bit of ground to make up, so can't really afford to surf safe. At the same time, if I'm trying to go for 8s and 9s and go crazy right up the scale, those are quite rare scores. We've seen one wave of that magnitude come through today. This afternoon's 4 heats. It's going to be that mental decision as well. I think all of that's made easier when the wave dictates the pace, and if you get something that allows you, you don't really have to think about it, aren't really decisions to make. It's all about using that instinct. Surfers have honed, and that's when they perform their best.
Absolutely. So in the mix, 5.5 minutes on the clock in the last heat of the day. Only had 4. They've all been action-packed. We're hoping for a little bit of drama. So the surfers are shading their eyes as they look into the distance. That sun sets on the Atlantic horizon probably in about, I don't know, an hour and a half's time, an hour's time. Meanwhile, Igarashi on the inside without priority goes for it. So he's identified something on the inside, such as his knowledge. Here he's got a bit of open face. Is it going to result in anything? He's sticking with it, kind of. He's not interested, so he didn't. You can tell body language. Just that. His coach, Jake Patterson, he's taking it seriously. And a shake of the head. A little question mark on his Chargers' decision-making there. Paul, do you think that, you know, Snake, that was a bit of a cross-look, cross-teacher look?
Pensive.
Knows he's better than that.
Reflective.
I reckon angry. Seething. No, it's not Jake's style, but he just knew that was... we're just talking about the decision make what you do. You know, he had 4th priority. He might actually go back out and have no harm, no foul. Still in the mix, and the stat hasn't come through. So we'll see if it's paid off. He still has the lead, even though he's got that 1.73. And he's just decided to just move away from his competitors and see if he can snavel something down the inside with 4 minutes on the clock.
Who's impressed you from Coach's Corner so far? What you've seen at this event?
I think statistically speaking, probably Mikey Myers, but that's just sheer down of numbers. He's got so many surfers, so yeah, he's been doing good. And yeah, Doug Silver, I've given him the Coach's Award for the best interview so far for sure. So yeah, those two spring to mind. Paul, here's a recap. A little sort of moments of brilliance, but it's been pretty slow.
Yeah, it was a long way to get this way for Azuki. And I thought he really maximised and made the most of it. And at this stage, you're thinking 5-5 is going to put him in a decent position in this heat. But you know what? The way the heat's gone on around him, it's still got quite a lot of question marks all over the place, really. We waited also for Kanoa, who was going nowhere. And even at this stage on this wave, you're thinking, well, this looks soft. And then all of a sudden, he gets this connection. So no real scoring done as yet. And then in here, fires up. There's the classic cactus pose off the top that he does. And it's a decent number. It's the heat's high score, the 6-9. And then he's trying to come from behind. So his first wave is like this. He tried to sort of force it from way back on the white water. It's hard to think of anyone ever coming from behind that white water and getting a good number, apart from on really, really big days. When it's small like that, really hard to do. And we just saw a little bit of a acquisitive look from Snake as he watched on.
Yeah, live action too. This looks like Ian Gentle, who has waited a long time. He got a 6.33 for his first wave. I think that wave might be of a kind of similar vibe. It was hard, a little bit hard, just for that angle with the glare. But we'll see another replay, and he looked pretty happy with it, just from his even his sort of laconical sort of style. He looked like he was pretty happy with himself. Let's put him back out. We'll see the score currently in 3rd place, leading just a 2.14. But here's some lines. Paul Evans, we might get the finish. We crave. Igarashi still waiting to get a second wave. Backs up his 6.9 out the back with priority. Is Crawford. He's also waited an age for this, and he's going to go. So here we go. Crawford goes back to the source. Nice little click off the top. Sees a section down here he can hit properly, and he does. But unfortunately, that's all there was. So the pulled back version was nice in terms of gave you the scope, but also showed that there wasn't that little bonus section, which a lot of surfers have been getting. And Crawford only needing a 3.65 with scores to come in, so he'll go back out. But he waited a long time for this, Paul. Did he make it count?
Anytime you see anyone fade in the takeoff here on a smaller day, you're thinking, and he did really well to maximise that section, smashed it. I think in the context of this heat, he's been starved of opportunity, hasn't ridden enough waves. I think he could be in trouble. Watching Igarashi involved again. This is another look at this linkage. So being real patient to wait for this wave and just adjusting, I think, in terms of his mind and the scale that he wanted. And he stopped thinking 6s, 7s, and he thought, I need to get something maybe around about the 4s, 5s. That's probably going to be something that's going to be useful for me. The numbers in it is exactly that.
Yeah, very useful, 3.83. So that means he goes up in to first. His second waves are really low scoring, so it's really tight here, really sort of tactical battle. Not big numbers, but it's still very, very close, and that's what's adding the excitement. And we've still got one score to come in for Crawford for that two-turn combo. The last sort of all on that last one, and it looks like it's come in here, and you wouldn't read about it in a massive, massive upset. So Crawford's wave coming in at a 4.83. And with that, he moves up in the second. And Kanoa Igarashi, the world number 7, the highest rated surfer in the field, has gone unable to back up at 6.9. And, well, you can't argue with that, Paul. He just, needed a backup. He didn't get it.
Amazing to think the surfers advancing, both just riding a pair of waves each. But Crawford, with that last wave, the 5, so that maximising that final section paid off for him. And there's not a lot in it. But amazing, really, to see Igarashi go out. Needing such a small number, but well done on making the decision for both Gentile and Crawford, who sat on one wave for an eternity.
Yeah, clutch surfing. And then when it counted, they weren't great waves, but they rinsed them. Absolutely got every single point they could have out of those pretty average waves. But yeah, great surfing. And they live to fight another day. And there's a man on the screen, surfer from Maui. So he'll be happy. Mayhem looked good on him, under his arm and in the water. And he's just come up. He's happy to get through that, obviously. So we've, it's been pretty action-packed, 4 heats. But right now, we're going to come back, have a look at the highlights, have a wrap-up. Before that is a short commercial break, and we'll come back with the end of the EDP Ericeira Pro right after this.
Welcome into the post-show, day 2 at the EDP Ericeira Pro, where good things came to those that waited. Golden hour on the beach here at Ribeira. As surf fans and spectators just drinking a beautiful moment. They're thinking about high-quality surfing competition, but they're mainly just contemplating life and thinking, it's pretty good right now.
It is incredible that we're just lapping around that thing, just circling it in the far reaches of the galaxy, and then we get to enjoy it like this.
We're hurtling through space and time. Jess, darling, what does it all mean?
Everything. It means everything to me.
We're just specks of cosmic space dust.
We're just lucky to be, just to have gravity holding us down is amazing. To have it here and watching surfing, who actually are defying gravity, has been great.
We're thankful for the forces of nature, particularly for waves, of course, which have been provided for us today. Let's go down and get fresh insights from the water. Chico Alves with the winner of the last heat of the afternoon.
Pretty nerve-wracking heat, not many waves. Talk me through it.
Yeah, I paddled out kind of off to the side and then just saw that the heat before were sitting super far under, and the wave that made the difference was that first one that Kanoa was too deep for, and then, yeah, just worked out my favor at the end. Stoked.
You always have like a really chill approach to your heats. In the meantime, when the time were like 4 minutes on the clock and you were sitting on your board, what goes through your mind looking so calm, and what keeps you so calm on those major moments of the heat?
I definitely wasn't that calm. I'd had a couple, I could have gone on 2 waves, and I had a similar heat this year in El Salvador where it came to, it was like the exact same situation, and I went on like the first wave that popped up, and this time around I waited. You know, I let Kanoa go on that, I don't know, I think he got like a 1 or 2, and I just waited, and I was like, okay, not this one. And then the next wave that came, I went. And yeah, and then Shion ended up getting the better wave, you know, and he had second prio, but it worked out anyways.
Knowing the forecast is looking better for the next few days, at least more swell. Do you feel confident about that? It does give you a bit more energy for the next few days?
For sure, having a lot of waves is always it's just more fun, you know. And but I was having a good time here. I'm just happy to be here with. Just want to thank God for being able to travel with my mom and my brother. He's over there, and that's a blessing, you know. And I love Portugal. I love coming here. Actually, I've been here on the off seasons just for fun, you know, just to surf and enjoy the culture. And I'm actually Portuguese. I did Ancestry.com, and I'm like a lot of Portuguese, which is funny.
See, we are brothers then.
What's that?
We are brothers then.
Yes, similar ancestors from the Azores.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who would have thought?
From the island.
Yes, from the island. Yep, exactly. So yeah, I don't know. It's good to be here, and I'm excited for this week.
Great. You want to send a quick message back home? I know your family is here, but you want to send a message to someone?
Yeah, sure. To my grandpa and my dad. They're usually watching, and to whoever else. My family's huge, and they all support me, and I'm really grateful for that. So just hello to everyone.
Great. Good luck for the next round.
Yeah, boys.
Back to you, boys.
Love it. Golden hour brings out emotional connections. Oh, hang on. Are we traveling through time and space?
It looks like one of those boats that Ian's ancestors sailed off back in the 15th century, perhaps. I mean, what, are we on Pirates of the Caribbean set? Or what's going on, Paul? You're speechless.
That was beautiful, wasn't it? You can see the emotions from Ian there, and it's interesting to say he looked cool, but you know what? There's a lot going on. He knew all about it as well. Really interesting to hear that arithmetic going on for him, and that's what it's been requiring throughout today, because it has been kind of tough in terms of opportunities, and it has required a bit of that coolness of head. I mean, we've had it in here, but they've had it in the water as well. Let's remind ourselves about how exactly it's gone down today, but energy, a little bit less of it. There's a little bit less size on the swell, and that meant decision-making was absolutely crucial by Monday.
Yeah, absolutely. It started off pretty slow, and these surfers had to wait the whole fog break, and there was those guys that dealt with it best, and Lucas Messinas, well, he's got such a great style. Identified this wave as a keeper from the start, and he just did that little bit of flair, sort of dragged his backhand there, which we loved, and then wound down to the end and finished it. tell he liked it. So, yeah, he was a really, really good send-out from the very start.
Yeah, it was the Luca Messina show basically in this heat. He just had such good rhythm, had a lot of energy about him as well, and I felt like he just had a lot of confidence. He was really backing himself, backing his ability. Great small wave surfer, and so was Cal Robbo. He just found these really nice sections, allowed him to unleash it and match what this guy was doing. But Luca went up into the excellent ranges. He got an 8-point ride out there, and who would have thought that we could see 8 points out there this afternoon?
Yeah, incredible wave. So we're in one of the highest individual wave scores of the whole event, and he absolutely smoked it. So yeah, and you know, to get a 14-point heat total, as you said, in these type of conditions, after the long wait and not being able to read the lineup, doing all that. So yeah, Callum Robson though fought back. He's had some good results here in the past over the years. You can see what it means to him. It was close, but he just snuck over the line, and that's going to change his week. And there's Morgan Siblick, good mates, and yeah, well served.
Next up on deck, a couple of surfers with major success this year in the form of #1 on the Challenger Series. Well, up until today, that is. We also had Luke Thompson out in the water. Shohei Kato.
Yeah, this one, we watched it, and, you know, we had some heavy hitters. We just saw Jacob Wilcox there, and then this man here just was absolutely banging down the line. It was Kato, I think. So, you know what? There were some heavy hitters. So Thompson come out really, really strong, but Jacob Wilcox played the patient game. Also, Jacob Wilcox's hair, very long at the back. Is it long? Is that could be considered long hair? We haven't seen this sort of long hair on the competitive scene for a while. I like it, Paul. Really enjoyed it. But what I didn't enjoy, he didn't get many waves, did he?
No,
JJ?
he didn't. He sat and waited, and unfortunately that was not the strategy that worked for our competitors this afternoon. Lukey Thompson, Shohei Kato, Luca Messinas, they all surfed really similar heats, caught lots of waves. That old saying, they built their house, they laid the foundations, and Lukey just did it in such a classy way. I mean, timeless traditional surfing on these smaller inside ones, but just used so much speed in his favour. Just laid so much power onto these tiny little sections. We said it in the heat, we felt bad for these waves.
Yeah, absolutely. They kept on going. Every time we thought he was going to peter out, Thompson just found an extra little spark, a little bonus section, and absolutely whipped it. And yeah, really commanding.
Bit of a trend. So I'm going to say already I'm noticing at this event, is there a record number of people bringing their parents to the event?
It's a
Is that to get them to
affair.
pay for dinner, pay for the accommodation?
100%. No, I'm kidding.
Well, it is because it's such a great place to come. The parents are, well, are you going to Portugal?
My parents are
I want to
coming.
come. Yeah.
I'm
Jesse's
on board.
Parents are here. Jesse's parents are here. Yeah. Wish my mum and dad were. Yeah, no, you're right, Paul.
Gurgia just went absolutely to town out there. It's all energy. I don't know how he had anything left for the interview, but the interview was like, I've seen shorter acceptance speeches for like the Oscars and stuff. He was really happy.
I've seen shorter films.
Oh, guys. He just won in a really hard heat. Winter Vincent, he'd never made a heat out here ever before. So this is the first heat he's ever made out here at Ribera, and looking so good for Winter Vincent. Surfing is silky smooth as usual.
It has to guess. He's about to win a whole lot more, whether it's not this year or the next. He's got a surfing that suits his wave. And this man, though, he was just absolutely motoring down so much speed. He loves these type of conditions. Generates more speed than most surfers. He can generate power when there is no power in the waves. And he just did these little surf within himself, but he surfed really smart. Did really good wave selection and really good manoeuvre selection, and finished off. So yeah, really, really strong.
Yeah, absolutely flaring. I haven't seen these waves yet. That was something special, and crazy upset to round out our afternoon today.
Major upset here. I mean, we looked at this one, we were just like, bring it on. We couldn't wait really to see these different approaches to wave riding and how that all play out as well. And I tell you what, this one kept us guessing throughout. There's a lot that went down. I thought Azuki surfed really, really well, and particularly at this stage in the early part, you're thinking he's finding a connection that's going to prove valuable here. But then all sorts happened, but coolest guy on CS until...
Say that again?
Cool cat, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Really composed. We got charisma as well. And we've seen now surfer just wrapping it here. Only got 2 waves, but he made both of them count. We just had a great interview and we had to break it all down. But the upset was Jess, this man here, and the highest rated surfer in the whole event. He's gone, Dick.
Yeah, there was whispers, there was a couple of predictions going down that this guy was probably going to win this event, and pretty convincingly, but Shion Crawford just came through right at that end and said, actually, hello, upset. But you know what? I'm a big fan of the underdog story. I'm all for it. I'm all for the fact that she came out of the gates and just said, actually, I really need these Challenger Series points so I can get up and start competing where you are. So I know Kanoa is probably going to have to cop that one on the chin. Not what he was hoping for, but this man on your screen. We're going to see him in that round of 32 coming up next. So Shion Crawford, dying stages, kept his cool, and I'm sure those two will knuckle it out, high five it out. But yeah, I agree. Ian, maybe the coolest guy on tour.
Yeah, it's a beautiful afternoon when you got a win in a tough heat as well, and you're starting to build a bit of momentum here. In terms of your key takeaways from today, when you do your journaling tonight, Ben, I know you're big on that. When you get home, what sort of key words are you going to write down as main takeaways from this afternoon?
Well, I just think that what we saw was surfers had a difficult day, and they came out with professionalism and with a whole lot of dynamism. So I was just really impressed with the 4 heats. All the surfers, dealt with the weird old day they had, came out swinging. So I was impressed with that. Their mentality, Paul. It's a very important part of surfing.
Jess, in terms of setting intentions for tomorrow, what are you hoping for?
I'm hoping for a full day because I get addicted to surfing really quickly and watching surfing, and I just don't feel like I'm super glad we got 4 heats, but I'm like, no, come on, let's go more. So I'm hoping for a full day tomorrow.
I've had a great idea.
I'm ready.
Should we come down here tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. for a call for a potential 8 a.m. start? Should we do that?
Yeah, 8 o'clock's perfect timing.
Yeah.
That sound good to you guys? Let's do that. 7:30 call tomorrow, potential 8 start. We'll send you out with some highlights from day 2. Stay tuned to WorldSurfLeague.com. We'll see you tomorrow.
This copyrighted event broadcast is produced by the World Surf League for broadcast around the world and may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the written consent of the World Surf League.